We have a full
That was
house
good.
today.
We do have a full house. We have to share microphones. We have such a full house. We haven't invested enough into the podcast yet.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. We're building out maybe a new. I know we said that this was our setting, but we might be building out a new studio. So we're going to change settings once again.
This is about like offices. when I
Yeah,
first started
exactly.
Working here, right?
Well, we went through 3 offices in 2 years, which was
yeah.
The only thing
a
I'm
huge pain in the ass.
the thing I like though right now is it's really cold in here, and now we have all these dudes sitting next to each other, so
Yeah.
we're gonna get like hot here.
Oh, no, we're going to
Wait,
pump
what?
the AC. Actually, Paul, can you pump the AC?
It's feeling claustrophobic over there.
I'm getting a little warm next to a bunch of.
At least you're not sitting next to Derek.
Yeah.
You know, we got Derek the space guy. No, but on the podcast today, we have the Apex Next Evolution supplement company. New supplements coming out. Clay Hill's involved, one of my best friends on planet Earth. I met Mike McLean,
yeah.
McLean through Clay Hill, through hunting. I met Derek through Clay Hill, and these are the Apex guys. You guys have known Clay for a while, right?
Quite a while.
I met Clay random Astley, remember that?
Yeah, at the
And-
hotel in
Yeah.
Loveland.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in a hotel. I went out and did this Colorado Youth Outdoors kind of a seminar thing and talked about Insider. And I got up the next day in the hotel and went down to breakfast. And I look up in the elevator and I see this guy coming down the elevator. He's got a big Go Hunt T-shirt on. And I was like, that's random, you know?
Yeah.
It was Clay.
Always
so
repping.
that's-
Always. That's why I love Clay.
That's right.
That's why I love him.
Yeah.
Guys,
Except
world
today.
famous, internationally known, and he's wearing GOHUNT.
It's the Clay Hill.
It's GOHUNT.
The Clay Hill.
Love
pinnacle.
it. Yeah, it is a pinnacle. But yeah, let's give some backstory here to who you guys are. I mean, Derek's here. You give some backstory on Apex and how
Yeah.
that came together, and then we'll get into Derek's involvement and what everybody's doing.
You want to kind of give the backstory where it all started?
This started in 2016.
Yeah.
The first hunt we ever did together, the first time we ever met.
Yeah.
Sitting in a field, like waiting for a really big deer to come in for Mike to shoot. And we're just sitting there waiting and talking about what he does for a living and where he came from. And like supplements have always intrigued me. Growing up around like the action sports industry of freestyle snowmobiles and all that. So I've always
You've
been
jumped.
around
You've
Monster.
jumped a
and-
snowmobile or two.
I've jumped some. I learned quickly that I wanted to be the guy behind the camera and not in front of it.
Well, you were doing all that crazy shit with Barant and
Yeah.
who else when they started doing backflips and all
like
that shit.
Jake Quinlan and all
Yeah.
those guys. They all grew up in the same area I did in Colorado there. So
You guys imagine Clay in the action sports?
No,
Like
not at
metal
all.
militia, snowmobiles
Yeah,
doing
we just-
backflips.
I used to have the hat
Wait,
all
wait, wait.
turned up
All
in the
tattooed.
front.
I literally used to
Just
watch all those
tattoos,
videos back
face
in the day.
tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was with. I mean, we grew up with all those guys riding snowmobiles. So
You are famous.
I'm not famous.
He's
but
He's
internationally
definitely
known.
famous.
Yeah. No,
I
he was
appreciate it,
he
but I
was
don't feel
riding
like it.
snowmobiles with these guys, and he was telling me, you got to tell the story when we were driving back from Sonora when you were like, I feel out of control in the air, and Chris was like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, I wasn't with Chris on that, but oh yeah, actually, he always tells me like I'd see them jump and I'd try to follow in, hit a lip or whatever, and jump, and I'd just be full throttle, things going straight over backwards, and I don't get the whole brake gas thing. I guess I'm just out of control. Come to find out, so yeah, I'm not those guys, but I do know them and grew up with all those people. But Apex started in a field hunting, kind of like all of us, how we all met. I feel like through the hunting industry. You know, it's brought us all together and.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because one of our other partners that's not here with us right now, Chad, he actually, I didn't draw a tag that year. I didn't get any auction tags or anything. And I didn't know Clay from Adam. And it was just kind of crazy. I called Chad and he's like, I met this guy. He's down in Mexico. I don't know a whole lot about him, but I guess he kills big deer. Doyle says good things about him. You got to give him a call. So literally just randomly, I call Clay. And, we hit it off and went over, killed a freaking smoker deer, 200-inch typical, was freaking gangster.
Pretty smoker.
Yeah.
You're the first
I'll
client.
take one of those.
Yeah, first client
paid
down.
for legal client.
Careful with the legal.
But it was pretty cool, that, we went down there and, connections of, friend of a friend. And, you look forward 7-8 years now and where that relationship has evolved. And now the new business, that we've got going on together. It's been kind of a cool journey meeting Lorenzo, through this process as well, I always heard about you, but I never had the opportunity to meet you until we were down in Swatch a few years ago. And,
Yeah. You've got some good relationships in the industry just overall, though. I mean, yeah, you came from vitamins and supplement
Yeah.
industry and all that stuff, but I mean, Kings, we carry Kings because of you.
Yeah.
Like you put us in touch with him. I mean, you've been around it for a while.
Yeah, I've been doing the thing just kind of quietly, always doing my own thing, you know. And in fact, Clay probably hated my guts because I was the worst client. I know I was. Like the first day I show up there, I'm like, listen, bro, I'm from Idaho.
DIY.
I've been doing this stuff myself. You're the first. I've never used a guide ever in my entire life. Like I wanted him to know that I'm a hunter. I'm not just
Yeah.
some guy that's coming out here and doing the thing. And I probably told you driving around the truck a gazillion times. Like it was crazy. And I'm sure
And Clay's probably like, yeah, bullshit,
Yeah.
bud.
I actually just left him in the field the first day. Remember that?
yeah, you did. You left me at the
Oh, you're a real hunter?
Yeah, I'll be back in a while. Just sit here. Maybe he'll walk by you guys.
like he did. We like sneak into this spot. This buck's been hanging out in this area, and so we sneak in and we sit down. We get all holed up and everything, and all of a sudden Clay like taps me on the shoulder. It's like, hey, dude, I'll be back here in just a second. It's just a second. He sneaks back out, goes to the truck. I see him take off.
I'll get breakfast.
Is that what you went to go do?
Dude, he went and took a dump, went and got breakfast. He like hung out, had coffee, whatever.
love it.
It leaves me out there
Just trying to
3
see how
hours.
tough you are.
Yeah,
Trying to
exactly.
see if you're a real Idaho boy.
Yeah, if you're the real deal, right?
And then Derek, you got involved through hunting with Clay too, right?
Yeah. So I just retired from the NFL. It was my first fall hunting.
12 years, 10 years.
10 years, yeah. 10 years in the NFL, 8 years with the Broncos, 2 with the Ravens, and then retired a Bronco in 2021 or 2022. And so I was like, over the counter elk hunting in Colorado. Archery was just like, I mean, to be honest, I got my just dick drove right to the dirt. It
Yeah,
was-
it's tough, man. It is rough.
It was
Beetle
rough.
kill,
Trail
all that
must
stuff
die
over
over
there.
And then my buddy, I
all
met
right,
Nestor.
Yeah.
I met Alex Nestor through Luke Cadillo.
Yeah.
He does the
I met Luke in New Zealand. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
random.
hunted with Luke in New Zealand. So I went to New Zealand way back in the day with Chad Mendez, TJ, Dillashaw, Luke. We all planned a trip down there. I had met Chad through UFC. I've been involved in UFC for a long time, or around it for a long time. Ended up going down there, and Luke was there. So I hunted with Luke a long time ago. So I've known Luke before, before I met Alex Nestor, before I met Derek, any of
Right.
these guys.
No
I
kidding.
met Luke, yeah.
It's a crazy small world.
Well, it's
It is
funny
a
the way
small
I met Luke. So Luke saw that I just switched over to Hoyt. So I was down at my No Limit Archery shop there in Denver. And he saw that I just got a Hoyt, but he was under the impression I was just now getting into archery. So he's like, "Hey, why don't you come up up to my house and jump on the podcast and shoot? And bring some money with you." And I said,
Bring some money.
All right. And we get up there. I get up there. He's like, "So how long you been shooting?" I was like, I shot my first deer at 13 with a bow. And he was like, "Oh." He's like, "So you've been shooting?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, shit."
You hustled him.
So I hustled him in that first round. And then the next round, because he's got a nice 3D
Yeah.
course in his backyard.
I'm jealous where he lives.
Yeah, he's got a cool spot back there. And the next round he was made home field advantage, down, taking shots where I should have been just laying on my stomach to shoot.
Yeah.
I couldn't shoot under these limbs and stuff, so he barely beat me on that second
Yeah,
round.
his 5'5" frame.
Yeah.
Giving Luke some shit.
yeah,
He might be
stubby
taller
ass.
than that.
His stubby ass.
Yeah, he's
But,
shooting under the limbs. He can't quite do that.
But I was up in Unit 18, up right on the border of the Never Summer wilderness right there, and I didn't see a single elk, man. We were hiking our asses off and just getting not a single deer or elk.
Yeah.
So I called Nestor and was like, "Nestor, dude, you got a spot up here that you know of?" And he was like, "Well, go try this." He sends me over to this random, I think it was Unit 28. He's like, "Go over to 28 and check this out." And he dropped me a couple pins. Dude, we walked up in there. I went through a 1.5 miles of blowdown, never touched the ground.
That's
And
horrible.
ran out of water. And I was like, shit. I was like, this is going to get bad. And then
This is your first introduction to Western hunting
Yeah.
too, right? Because you grew up Ohio.
Ohio hunting
Yeah,
whitetail,
yeah.
and turkey. So it's all tree stand hunting pretty much. You're not spotting stock and whitetail back in Ohio because it's all
Yeah.
private little 70-acre plots
Yeah.
and 50-acre plots where you're hunting these deer. You're just waiting for them over corn. It's boring.
Wildly different than
Wildly
Western
different.
hunting. Yeah.
So the Western hunt was like a dream.
Yeah.
It was it seemed so. I come from very humble beginnings, man. I come from absolutely nothing. So my first plane ride was in college. I never even flew on a plane.
So insane.
I just getting out west to hunt elk was something that just was always a dream, right? And then I
Yeah.
get drafted to Denver, and the fall is taken up by football. I'm not going to go hike 12 miles on my day off. Like I could barely fucking crawl out of bed, let alone, go hike and pack an elk out,
Yeah.
So I finally was able to do it, and I was like, I don't care. I got screwed over on a tag down in New Mexico on a mule deer tag. They tried to extort me on like another $4,000. Of
course.
And I was like,
NFL guys got money. Why not?
So they just try to find every opportunity. Well, that's the bad part about your salary being on the internet. People just know what you have, so they just
It's so fucking
try to
unfair
take
with
advantage. It's hard to
athletes.
find guys that won't take advantage.
Yeah.
So I'm up there getting just my butt kicked, and Nestor was like, "All right, I'm gonna get a hold of Clay," and I didn't know Clay, and I was like, "Well, who's Clay?" He's like, "Oh, you don't know Clay Hill?" He was like,
Exactly. How do you not know
That's
Clay?
what he said.
The
He was like,
snowmobile guy?
"You don't know Clay? You don't know who Clay Hill is?" He's like, "You never heard of his dad, Jody?" And I was like, "No, like I don't know what you're talking about, man." And he was like,
Real legend.
No.
he was
Jody
like,
is a real legend.
he was like, his dad's the real. That's what he said. And that's what, his dad's a legend. You're like, you got to hear the stories about him, right?
Nuts.
He's like, Clay will tell you all these stories. They like just drive down. He's like, here's the address. Drive down there. So I drive down. I talked to Clay on the phone and was like, "Hey man, is it cool if I come down?" And he's like, "Yeah, we'll get you set up, bud."
Sounds just like
Always
him.
bad.
That's exactly what he said. And I was like, "Oh, I love him already," because that's like, calling people bud if you don't know them.
Yeah.
it could come off as like you might as well call me chief or or sport.
Squirt, champ,
Or champ,
Little did I know
But-
how big he was going to be when he showed up.
But like that's something that my friends and I always call each other bud, just to like, because if a stranger calls you bud, it's usually like
different, yeah.
Hey bud, we got a
sure.
problem? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not your buddy, guy.
Not your friend, pal.
Not your friend, pal. So I drive down. It was like 3-hour drive down there. Drive down to Sasquatch or whatever town it was. I was like, Sawash, what is this? I have a place in Fairplay that's only an hour from him.
Yeah.
But I'd never heard of Sawash. Like
Interesting little town.
and very interesting town. So we get down there, and he's like, it's unlike any other hunting you've ever done. And it's down in these big meadow, this giant meadow, basically, with these huge, 14-foot willows.
Not even you can see over the top.
Yeah, you can't see over the top.
They're thick.
And like coming from not being in any elk, right? And then Clay puts me. Who was it? Tate took me out the first time.
Tater tot.
Yeah, Clay was with a client, so he made, and that was to me like somebody that I know how these hunts go. You get them booked in advance, right? Like usually months or even a year in advance. So for him to just take me in on a whim, I was like, sweet, like this is going to be cool, man. I appreciate it. So we go down there and Tate takes me out, and we get up in these willows. Mike was with us. And that's where I met Mike for the first time. And I was like, this guy's awesome with the mustache. Like, I fucking love this guy.
Distinguished gentleman.
I was like, who is this guy? I love him, because
Scientist.
I made like a movie quote, and he fucking got it right away. And I was like, yeah, my kind of guy. So we hit it off right away.
Yeah.
And not to mention, he had the apex in this little sketchy looking vial. I was like, I was expecting him to start putting it on his hand,
The vials are very interesting. Clay gave me a bunch of those vials,
vials-
this last summer.
They
I was
come
like,
off
They're
weird.
really good for muzzleloader propellant, too.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
They look like they're dual purpose.
Yeah.
I've kept a bunch of mine after I've used all the samples.
Static
last
free.
year.
Yeah, static free.
But you look really weird when you pull out the vials. Like
right.
You're like,
and it has
mixing
like
up.
the writing on it is
Yeah.
like it's not there's no
grabbed
real
some. I still
label,
have them
right?
in my
Yeah.
drawer.
It looks
Really?
like somebody
Yeah.
printed this label off on their computer at home, And I was like, what is that? And he's like, oh, this is a supplement. It's a pre-workout. And I was like, is it good? Does it give you the bubble guts or anything? And he was like, no, man, it's clean. It's really good, clean stuff. I was like, let me try it. So I tried it. And next thing I know, I was like, what's this called? He's like, oh, that's tiger's blood. I was like, oh, I love it. Like the name was just perfect, right? And then he's like, yeah, we call it Apex. I was like, dude, what? Like, how sometimes you just have that feeling like you're right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was like at that moment, I was like, oh, these are my kind of people. Like and I was looking for that coming out of the NFL, right? I was looking for like, what's my next tribe look like, And like I said before, I come from, a pretty screwed up background, right? I didn't have my mom was a drug addict and alcoholic. I didn't have a dad. My stepdad was abusive. So I've been pretty much since 11, 12 years old, I've been living on my own, doing my own thing and figuring it out on my own. So I'm always looking for my next tribe, right? And football was that tribe for me. So now that that's done, where's my next tribe, right? And I have my family, right? My wife and my kids, but like I still need that camaraderie of the locker room, right? And I found that down there in Sawash with these guys. I was like, these are my kind of guys, man. I love these guys. So I tried the Apex, and I was like, this stuff's great because pre-workouts, being in the NFL, everything had to be clean. I couldn't have anything that would pop, right? And So some of this stuff just has a bunch of fillers in it, and it really gives you the bubble guts. And I don't like that feeling, and I don't like pounding coffee and getting all dehydrated. So I tried that Apex, and I was like, I love it, and I'm all jacked up on Tiger's blood.
Yeah.
I'm all
Tiger's
wound
blood,
up on
baby.
Tiger's blood. And we go into these willows, right? And we start ripping bugles in these willows, and this huge, the bull you got,
Yeah.
that same bull, that one.
We're
This
killers.
fucker.
Me and Clay are killers,
Yeah.
but don't send us after an animal.
Well, I was
It's
going to
gonna
send one
die.
at 90, and Tate was kind of and after he saw that I could shoot, Tate never seen me shoot
Yeah.
yet, so he
Yeah.
didn't know if I could. He didn't know what he was getting into.
Tate's
He's
a
like-
skeptic.
He's like,
a
this guy's in
skeptic.
the NFL. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He can't shoot, So I understand why he didn't let me take that. He didn't want me to take that shot, but I was going to send one at 90. Like, I'll send it. I can hit him at 90. I know I can.
Shoot.
And I'm pulling 33 inches on my draw.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question. What are
I
your
could
specs
send,
on your bow.
33-inch draw, 80-pound pull. I mean, I could send a butter knife and it's going to penetrate, So
It's pretty.
33-inch draw.
It's pretty
Yeah.
wild. His bow selection is very limited.
yeah, very limited.
Yeah.
well, I can't hunt in blinds because I can't
sure.
get, I can't go to full draw. I
Just
had
for
that-
clarity, how big are you?
I'm 6'6", 280.
Yeah.
6'6",
So like that puts in
280.
perspective
Yeah.
with some
Yeah.
giant arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, my arms are just long as shit. So, so like we're in these willows, right? And this bull is just, I mean, I haven't been around any elk before, ever,
Yeah.
right? And this is like my dream coming true, right? We're in these willows, and there's this bull ripping bugles and just raking trees right next to us, like 3 feet. Right?
yeah, he was right
He was
there.
like 3 feet from me. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. You know? Like, I was losing my mind. I loved it. I was like in heaven. But I couldn't get a shot on him in there close. So,
Yeah.
because it's just like, if anybody knows how thick it is, you can't even see the bull. All I could do is hear him.
Yeah.
And I could feel the ground moving beneath me as he's, walking around. So we're going through the creek, out of the creek, and back into the creek. I mean, crawling around, doing everything we can, trying to get close on this bull because he was just keeping, if any
Didn't
elk.
we get stuck in the middle of the creek when the
We
elk
did.
turned back on
So
us?
he
and
was
we were like waist
If
deep.
I could, we're like waist deep in a creek just standing there.
Yeah.
And
They
the
all
bulls
came
are
up the
staring at
creek,
us.
you know?
Tate's probably calling like he always does, just freezing him out in the middle of the river.
Yeah. Well,
He's-
Tate
he's
was
a
the only
dick
one that
like
wasn't in the water.
Tate was the only one. Derek and I are like knee deep. Well, I was balls deep. He was knees deep, in the water. So
It was funny though, man. And like I said, we got a couple opportunities on him. I could have. There was a big club bull, goofy looking.
Oh, that was
Yeah, I
cool.
remember
He had a
that
really
bull.
nice
Yeah.
right side, but his left side was like this crazy looking club.
Yeah, I like
and I
that
could have.
bull.
I mean, I could have slung one at him, 4 or 5 different times, but
Yeah.
I just was. I
saw that big one.
I saw that big. What did he measure?
Straight 6. He was a great bull. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like
Did you measure?
320s,
Like
probably.
320s?
He's a
Yeah.
stud bull.
But for
Great
me,
bull. Yeah.
330s.
Yeah.
330s maybe.
He's-
He's
It's
I
an
think
elk,
he was
they're
like
all
a
the same.
yeah.
He just
They're all the
shot-
same.
And he had those pretty
Trail,
white tips,
Trails,
man. He
Trails
just
doesn't like this right now, but they're all the same.
yeah. He was a
I don't
beautiful,
care.
beautiful.
yeah. I would say he's 330 anyway.
He's a great bull.
He was just north of that.
Yeah, he was a beautiful bull, man. I
won't
really
talk
wanted
about
that
the
one,
score,
but
but-
that would have
I
been a
know
great
it,
first bull. But it
exactly.
worked out great because I ended up going that next week. I went down to Unit 34 in New Mexico and connected with a big 315, 320 inch 5x.
Yeah.
Dark
Great-
horn.
great film on it, too,
And
by
it was
the way.
good, perfect film. And I worked my butt off for that one too. That was
Yeah.
5 days, 60 miles. And that's the one thing. That's the other thing is when I go hunting with a guide, it's because I don't have the time to put in the scouting, right? I have like other obligations that I can't just like go. I can't go scout for
Yeah.
a month before season and figure out where the elk are bedded up and where they're kind of moving and where they're wallowing. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I just can't. Like my wife, I'll be divorced. She'll lose her mind. I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old daughter, so it's like I get 30 days out of the year to hunt, so I got to capitalize on it. And if
Yeah.
I got to pay a little extra for a guide, whatever. And whenever you
Well, shit, and you're new to it. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
you're
and I'm just
fresh
figuring
out
it
of the
out,
NFL.
right?
Yeah.
And I did a DIY my first time going out. I did it the right way. I didn't want to just walk out, and shoot an elk, right? I wanted to
Yeah.
go hunt. I love, because to me it's not always about the kill. Like that is the ultimate goal, right? It's like, but you fail more than you succeed, right? I played defensive line. If you think I played 10 years in the NFL, 60 snaps a game, 17 games a season, I had 200 starts and only 36 sacks. So think about how many pass plays I was in where I didn't get a sack.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know what it feels like to fail more than you succeed, but it's about the journey getting there, right? It's a setup. Like, did I learn from this one? Okay, I didn't get him on this. I didn't beat the offensive lineman on this rush. So now I'm setting him up, right? So I just keep working the same thing and then boom, switch it up on him in the last second, right? And that's kind of how I approached the elk hunt. And I was like, I'm just going to go out here and just figure it out.
That's crazy.
And I was just stomping around the woods, you know, the forest, you know. And I'm like, well, here, I'm going to mark a pin at, you know, 10,000 feet. We're starting at 8,000. I'm going to do a 2,000-foot vertical climb at 4 in the morning. Big mistake. Giant mistake, right? We get up there, and because that's the only spot we heard a bugle, and we get up there. This is in Unit 18, and we get up there, and it was like a fresh wallow up there. I mean, it smelled like piss, and it smelled
Piss
like
and
piss.
vinegar.
They've been pissing all over themselves, right?
Yeah.
And it was fresh. So, and we had heard a bugle up there right before we left the night before. So we're thinking, okay, this is gonna be a good spot. So we hike all the way up there, dude, and it was brutal. Like it was really brutal getting up there. And we're sleeping in tents, you know. So sleeping in tents, and we had a Sprinter van, but the Sprinter van with 3 guys in there. It was like, I was like,
good.
dude, I'm just gonna go out and sleep in a tent, man. This is disgusting in here, you know. So
That's saying a lot coming from the locker room too. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I was sleeping.
That van was pretty sweet though. You guys had that pimped out pretty
Yeah, it
good.
was pretty good setup. But after because I was going to build one of those vans out. I had bought one of those Sprinters, the longer ones, and I was going to build it out for a base camp. But I was like, after driving it around, I was like, man, this thing sucks. Like driving it sucks. I was like, I'd rather just have a pickup and put a tent in the top of it, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do now. But
Smart. That's a good setup.
but like I said, man, we get up there, and by the time we get up there, it's like, well, we might as well just take a nap, you know. Eat some breakfast,
Classic
take a nap, take a
September
poop,
nap.
you
You
know.
never sleep better than you do in September.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
on the ice. It's the best
I
nap in the
got
world.
curled up against a log, and it was like nice and kind of cool up there at 10,000 feet, you know, just like, oh yeah, just knocked out, right?
Nothing more
Yeah.
peaceful.
And I hear a bugle, and that wakes me up, and I'm like, oh, it's on, let's go. So I get all fired up, right? And I'm get all set up. I get my buddy Adam to call. Remember Adam?
Yeah.
My buddy Adam was like, I'm going to take you up there so you're not cutting your teeth. Like, you know, you're just going to be stomping around the woods, not knowing what to do, just ripping bugles like a dummy, you know? And he's like, so he sets up like 300 yards back in this meadow. And I set up like at the halfway point. And I mean, for like 2 hours, dude, we're going back and forth with this bull. And it's like, to me, it sounded like he just said stopped at the end, right? And I'm like, something's up, man. This doesn't seem right. He should have already stepped out. Like if he was that fired up coming up that hill like that, he should have already stepped out. So I pull my binos up and look, it's a fucking dude standing there.
I knew it. I knew it.
He's like, "Where's that bull at?" You know,
Yeah.
he's doing the same shit I'm doing. We pulled this guy up from all the way down there.
My God.
I was pissed. I know he was really pissed.
Yeah.
That
He
is
didn't
the
even
worst
come over to
feeling in
talk
the whole
to us.
world.
He didn't even come over to talk to us because I was like, and he was like, I could see his head like shaking. He's like, "Fuck." You know?
Yeah, if you get
But
called-
that's happened to all,
called in,
honestly.
you don't want to go up
Yeah.
and say
No.
hey to the guy.
I'm a
I mean,
fool.
you don't want to go up there and admit that you just got called in.
That I just called him in.
Well,
It's happened to all of
It's
us,
happened
honestly.
to everybody. No shame in it. but-
Yeah.
No.
So that was my first experience. So getting to go down there with Clay and Mike and Tate, it was just awesome. And one of the first conversations that Clay and I had, he was talking about you.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You got to meet my buddy Lorenzo. You guys are gonna hit it off, you know." And he's like, he used to play football. He fucking loves to hunt. And I was like, "Yeah, all right, sold," you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was selling you to me right away. You know, he was like, "You're gonna love this guy."
Appreciate that, bud.
And then he was like, "You know, what
Dude, he's
GoHunt
always
is?"
repping.
You know, and I'm like new to the industry, right? So I'm like trying to figure out all these different companies, right? I'm using Onyx and what else am I? I'm using Onyx and HuntWise and all this other shit because I'm like, you know, every other dummy that's getting into it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just signing up for everything I can and trying to figure it out as I go. And he introduced me to GoHunt, and I was like, "This is badass!" Like now I could figure it out because the units and the point systems. I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
You know, like you said, I grew up back east. You go to Walmart, buy a deer tag, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And you can hunt the statewide. You get 2 does and a buck, and all you need is that deer tag.
We are a little jealous of that, honestly. That
Yeah.
would be nice to know that you're going hunting,
Yeah.
kill 3
Well,
animals.
Maryland,
It's a give and take on both sides. It's
Yeah.
pretty,
in
pretty
Maryland, in 2021 in Maryland, I killed 16 deer
wild. It's insane.
legally.
I was gonna say it's
All legally,
wild.
legally,
16.
16 of them, because you get
Wow.
unlimited doe tags, and then you get 3 buck tags. So I killed 3 bucks and a bunch of does, just a pile of them.
Can you imagine if we had deer population like that out here in the West
that would
again?
be awesome.
Oh, it'd be incredible.
Mule deer just taking the shorts, though, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like they just, it's
Well, it's
not fair.
Well, you got to think there's so many deer in such a small little area. So it's like they're all city deer. So you're on like 30-acre plots, and
Yeah.
So I call them backyard bucks. I'd just be set up in somebody's back. I just go knock on their door, and they'd be like, "Oh, Derek Wolfe, yeah, you can come hunt." I'm like, "Sweet, thanks." You know, you can write the permission so I don't get in trouble. You know, just give me it on
Just
paper.
make sure
right?
it's written, please.
Yeah, just make sure you write it on paper. And they're like, "All right, I got you." And then I had depredation what they call them, crop damage permits.
Yeah, depredation.
So I had a crop damage permit too. So I literally had unlimited
Yeah, that's unfair, man.
shooting
I
with
wish
my
it was
bow.
like
So
that.
I was just, so I got to really like, you know, get back in, because you have to kill, you got to be practicing to kill.
Yeah.
Like you have to have.
That's what we always say. There's only one way to get good at killing. That's to kill.
Yeah.
And that's
right.
how I always,
100%.
and I took the same approach with football. The only way to get into football shape is to play football. So that's why I practiced like I played. So that's why when I'm out there, when I'm practicing, like shooting a target, that's nothing, right? That's,
Yeah, it's a
You
different feeling.
it's a way different feeling.
Emotions, for sure.
Yeah. So like to me, being able to go out there and get like that many shots on deer with my bow,
Yeah, because you
It
draw
was-
a bow back on an animal, it's wildly
different.
wildly different.
Completely
People
different.
get and it really helped me doing that, because when I first got, it'd been a long time since I had shot a deer with a bow. You know, really like 8 years. It'd been 8 years. No, because there was a couple times that I snuck back to Ohio, but nothing big, you know.
Yeah.
So like these big bucks would come in, and I'm like, "Doo, doo, 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 doo." And I'm like, oh shit, like I need to get back into it. Like I need to figure
Yeah.
this out again, you know, and get used to it. So it was nice to be able to do that. That way, so when it came to like the Western hunting, once I was getting in the elk and everything, it was easy for me to keep my heart rate low and calm down and not get that target, that, because you get panicked, right? You get in a full draw, you see people, they're like, you know,
That's
they're
what I was
shaking.
gonna ask. Is there any
No,
correlation?
I've actually got really good footage of him right over his shoulder. We were getting ready to smoke a deer, and I got my camera, just the
Yeah.
camera, and I got him, dude. And once he gets laser focused, dude, I mean, it is just, where is he? What's the range?
Athlete syndrome. They
You
get
know,
locked
yeah,
in.
like-
It's
Yeah,
killing
you
them.
smoked
I
that
get-
buck.
Yeah,
You know,
I
It's
get,
like 78 yards.
yeah, that's 78
Let's
yard
not
shot.
talk about that buck, bud. Let's not
Oh
talk
yeah, when I
about that
snaked
buck.
this deer.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
What's so
buck.
hard about this?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
what
buddy.
made it. Listen, you know
Come
when
on
somebody's
now.
mad when they won't come outside and even look at your deer.
Yeah, that's
You know they're mad.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even. I seen him looking out the window.
You
While
didn't
we
go
were
out and look at it?
No, he wouldn't even come out. He was
You
so
hunted.
mad.
You hunted that buck.
We
like
never
10
got a
times?
response.
Yeah, probably not quite 10 times, but
I sent him the picture right away because I thought he'd be fired up for me.
oh, I was fired up for you. It
And
wasn't,
he was
it wasn't
like-
the picture. It was
he was
smart
like,
ass
"Good job."
over here that like sends me this thing. This is how Clay works, though. You know, the Clay Hill. This is how he works. And he'd done this twice earlier in the season. We were elk hunting. This was right before Derek had come over. We had another group of guys that come in, and it was a little bit of a struggle. They were older gentlemen, kind of had a hard time keeping up, you know, with the elk and stuff. And Tate and I were struggling, kind of get these guys killed. And then Tate had to leave for a rodeo, and my son had a baseball tournament, and so Clay came back. And I think he was actually with you, that's why he wasn't there
Yeah.
the first part of the week or whatever. And Clay
That's
comes
when we
back.
first met.
Yep.
And I kid you not, I am halfway to Denver to go get on an airplane. The sun is barely up, and I get a text message from Clay that says, guys, what's so hard about this? And it's a little video of him and the client that I just spent 5 days with, you know.
double.
And
Got his cow and the
within
bull.
like 10 minutes, they kill a cow and the bull in 10 minutes, and he sends that out, right? And this was before you come over.
Yeah.
So the backstory on that was that he said that, and then he was just such a punk ass when he was, you know, texting back and
shit.
forth. And I was like, come on, dude. So then when you smoked my deer, and I get, was that
Smoked him,
so
dude.
hard?
First time we hunted it.
Yeah,
First time.
First time.
day.
First
In like
day.
the first 5 minutes, you know.
Well, it was that. The crazy thing is that I went on just a crazy streak there for 10 days. And 10 days, I killed my first bull. I killed a double drop time mule deer up in Wyoming, and then I drove straight down.
Yeah, that was a cool deer too.
So I killed. So it's crazy because I did the elk, and then my wife threw me a big retirement party. So we just like got hammered, you know, and had a great time, partied, and you know, celebrated my retirement. And then the next day I drove straight up to Wyoming, and one day tagged out up there, and they're like, "You are the luckiest." I just stalked this double drop time muley on the train tracks. I just stayed behind the train tracks and like used that hump as the, because he kept stopping and
setup.
looking like, what the hell is going on, you know? And I finally got a 50-yard broadside shot on him and bow, hammered him. And he piled up like 60 yards, you know.
that was
He
a cool
was-
deer.
So then I called Clay and I was like, hey, we got what, 2 days left on this tag? I said, I'm coming down, bud. And he was like, all right, let's go. He's like, I'm free. He's like, he's like, Lorenzo's here right now. And I was like, perfect. I was like, because I wanted to come meet you so
Yeah.
bad because he'd been talking about you, you know. So I was like, I got to come meet Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Were you down there at that
But yeah,
time?
I hunt antelope out there every year.
Yeah,
He
you
killed
know,
two
Clay,
giant antelope and my
Oh,
and
that's
my
right. Heath
bull.
was out there as well.
Clay,
Cleanup crew.
So you got snaked, and then
He
you got
snaked. Yeah, I got snaked.
And somehow I'm always in the middle of
Yeah.
this snaking.
Clay's always in the middle of the snake.
Whole snake
But-
eyes over there.
Hey, is this completely orchestrated?
Oh,
I
yeah.
see you just like up above pulling strings.
Get tired of him messing around, you
There
know?
you go.
Oh,
It was
man.
funny, man. So and like I said, 10 days. So I drive down there. Lorenzo's like, I got to go to the airport. And he's got these 2 giant antelope and a giant bull elk. And I'm like, dude, that's my bull.
It was a good week. It was a really
But
good week.
it's what I don't give it. You know, I'm just like, that's the one thing about me is like, even when I played, if Von Miller and I played next to each other for 8 years, and I did a lot of setting up for him.
Yeah.
So I would set him up for sacks, and if he got the sack, I felt like we got the sack.
Yeah,
you know.
you did, yeah.
So it was like that's kind of how it felt. You know, I had 136 sacks, only 6 of them I wasn't involved in.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Holy shit. That's,
Wow, that's
actually
awesome.
pretty incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was only 6 sacks between the 2 of us that I wasn't involved in. So 136 sacks between us in 8 years. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
There's
for
a reason you
duo.
won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we dominated.
There's a pretty clear reason.
Yeah, we dominated that Super Bowl too. It was fun, but
Still one of my favorite scenes of all time I've ever witnessed is when you drove Cam Newton, right?
I drove him. Dude, it's a late hit for sure.
Do you guys remember that Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
and he got so
Oh,
pissed.
he was like just throwing
dude,
his
before the
hands.
game, he's running around on our sideline with these gold shoes on. I said, "Bud, it's gonna be a long day. Like, it's gonna be a real long day." Because
I love that you called him Bud.
your right
Hey,
tackle
Bud.
was on our practice squad, and he's trash. So Vaughn's gonna just destroy this guy. And every time this guy's right heel was up, I knew it was a pass because he would lift his right heel so he could get his kick step in.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, it's pass."
looking at all
So
the
me
little
and so
details.
Vaughn and I just had like hand signals already set up that we'd been using for years. Little hand signals that we would give each other, like I'm going to shoot the gap, wrap around, right? And we were just, I ran up and grabbed him by his jersey one time. Vaughn just ran right by him, sack fumble, touchdown for us. Like,
That was, you guys whooped the shit out of
you know,
him.
we just dominated him. Vaughn got the MVP. It was perfect, right? We just dominated. But anyways, where was I? Sorry. I
How
got
many
distracted.
career sacks did you have? You said
30
it earlier.
36.
36. And how many years played?
10.
So 10 years, 36 sacks. I didn't realize, to me,
Yeah.
I mean, I think about football, it just seems like, you know, guys are out there playing, they get sacks all the time. It's not. Like, what does that feel like? Like, to actually get a sack that many years played, like the
So-
intensity of that situation must be, that's what's like resonating with me. It's hitting me pretty hard right now. Like, it must be pretty incredible feeling.
It's starting to seem like it's very close to like what you're killing an elk.
That's what I'm
Because of the
saying.
success
it's-
rate's so
yeah.
low for
dude,
both of them.
Yeah.
Killing an elk though,
That's
Is it higher?
dude.
that's where I was going with this. Is like,
I'm
what's
talking.
that feel
Listen,
like?
so my last name is Wolfe. So in Denver, when I would get I could make a tackle 30 yards downfield, and the fucking crowd would just be like, "Arr!" The whole crowd howling, right? And they did a big howl over the thing, and like I would jump up and howl, you know. So like AFC Championship game, we're down by 2 points, or we're winning by 2 points, and it's like 3rd and 6. I like run around the tackle and come back around, and I grab Tom Brady by the ankles and just barely get him down. And he's got a wide open Gronkowski. Like, if they convert that, dude, we're losing the game. He's going to keep driving and score. And I get that big sack, and I just jumped up and stood over him and just started howling. And just stood right there, like doing something like, and then the crowd does it. Like, that got me jacked up.
And it's fucking Tom Brady.
Yeah,
That's
you're-
what I mean.
Yeah.
You're
that's
literally
what I-
sacking the GOAT.
Yeah, and I
Hey,
have
you
more
admitted it.
sacks on him than I have more.
We're not talking about basketball. It's football. I'll totally agree. He's the GOAT of football.
Okay,
Basketball,
all right,
you know where I'm staying.
Jordan, right?
Hey, now we're not getting into
This is a LeBron guy.
Oh,
Dude,
no.
you're-
That's a whole nother
you're
debate,
nuts.
bud.
There's a lot of reasons to it. If you guys want to, Jordan's the guy who
from
want to
the
kill the
action-
teammate, and he will mentally destroy you before the game. He's the killer.
Jordan.
Jordan,
Yeah, dude,
for sure. He's the
fire-
guy I want
yeah.
to win. LeBron does have some longevity. He's a straight athlete. Jordan is
Yeah,
also
yeah,
a really
yeah,
good
yeah.
athlete as well. But
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
things going
It's
back and
always
forth.
an interesting debate. Sorry, dude. Like,
No, I'm right there with you. I get it.
They're
I
both,
get
they're
it,
both
but-
studs.
I don't know, man. it's the championships.
It is, yeah. 6-0
How many
compared to
championships
yeah.
do you have, right?
And look at the supporting cast.
Yeah.
But that's why Tom Brady to me is the ultimate GOAT, because go watch the Michael Jordan documentary. They're all like, this guy sucked to be around. Like, he was a jerk.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
dick. You know, like he was
He's trying to push everyone.
he was pushing everybody to be their absolute best, right? Kobe was a little bit different, but he still would push people, right? Tom Brady, you'll never meet a guy that played with Tom Brady that didn't love Tom.
Just nice.
That didn't love
But he
him.
still demanded excellence
Right.
from everybody,
Yeah.
and no one says a bad word. That's
Right.
the most mind-boggling thing to me is you can be that good, that successful, push for absolute excellence all the time,
Yeah.
but then walk away from a team and everyone says it's the best teammate I ever had.
Yeah.
Like that's what blows my
Well,
mind.
I felt that way about Peyton Manning and DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Ware was the same way. He was just like demanded you to be better, right? But it was like coming from a place of love almost, right? That didn't feel like he was like, just, if you don't do it, you're out of here, right? It was like, we're going to get you there.
Yeah.
Right. That's the way Peyton was too. He's like, he made you better just by the way his presence being on the field made you better because you wanted to perform better for him.
Yeah.
And that's like, to me, a great leader is somebody who, any kind of business you're in, right? It all starts at the top, right? Shit rolls downhill. So if your leadership is shit, guess what? The final product is going to be just a big giant turd because everything down through the bottom, right? That's not everybody is built for leadership. So that's why when you're put into that leadership role and you earn it's earned. It's an earned role. You can't just give somebody leadership. They have to earn that role, right? And that's why I have so much respect for you, man, because you come from the way your dad has raised you guys, man. It's like it's impressive as hell. Like it's just
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's impressive as hell how you don't like you would never know what you come from because you work just as hard as the next guy. You work harder than the next guy, and you feel like you have to because of that. And I love that, and I respect the shit.
I mean,
out of
honestly,
it.
I appreciate the shit out of it. I tell people all the time that's literally the best compliment I could ever receive, and I appreciate that a lot.
And to see the way you lead around here, these last 2 days, being able to see the way you lead around here, it's impressive, man. And it's not like fuck, Lorenzo's here, everybody fucking tighten up, It's like, you know how that goes, right?
Look at these guys. These guys
Like, wait, what?
Like, oh fuck, he's here.
Everybody always says
Sorry, I tried to hold that in.
everyone always says I'm hard to read. Like when they come in and tell me something, they're like, I don't know if you're happy, mad. Like I don't know.
Dude,
I'm
you
like,
were
well,
so
fuck, I
hard
don't
to
know.
read. I told Clay last
Yesterday.
night when we got done with
Yeah.
dinner, I'm like, dude, there's times, man, I just don't know what the hell's going
I
through that
get
guy's
that
mind.
feedback, and I don't know. It just doesn't sit. I don't know.
Like yesterday,
He's
when
got
we were
that resting
filming,
bitch face.
I guess. I guess I
We
do.
call that
Just fucking
resting
looks mean,
bastard
looks mad
face,
all the time.
right? No, yesterday when we were filming, I mean, we were doing our thing and stuff, and I looked back and I thought I was on a roll, but I saw you go. Like I just do some little facial
I
deal. and
must
I'm like,
do.
I
I
stopped.
must do something. I don't know.
No, you have a hard face to read. You got a good poker face, right?
Or bad, because everybody thinks I'm mad when I never am.
But that's the
Or maybe
that's
actually, it is a good poker
Use
face,
it to
right?
your
Yeah.
advantage. It keeps you guessing a little bit.
Use
right?
it to your advantage, man.
True.
I've never even seen you mad.
I'm not. I don't
You
get
guys?
mad.
No.
I'm trying to think.
That's not
I
true.
don't like- I don't
I saw him one time. I don't know that it was mad, but it was on the sheep hunt, and you had forgot to
we actually
pack
fought
any
like
food. Remember this? He had forgot to pack a cooler, water. We all come. We're sacrificing everything to help him with this sheep hunt, and I'll never forget Lorenzo sitting going through, ripping the back of the truck, going, "There's no effing water. There's no fucking water, man. Like, we got nothing to eat.
This guy's like
we
a
got
camel. He drinks it all the whole
we
time.
got
I'm
nothing
the
to
same
eat.
way, dude. I just pound water the whole time.
I'll make this story. I'll make this story quick because this is a long story, but I'll make it quick because I want to get back to what you were talking about with Tom and that feeling because it's sitting in my
Yeah,
head right
I
now.
want to know how that relates to
Yeah.
killing a bull.
But
Okay.
Clay and I have been best friends since literally the day we met, which was in 2012 or something like
Yeah.
that. This is early,
Yeah.
long time ago. Literally same thing. You meet somebody, you feel like okay, I'm supposed to cross paths
Yeah.
with this guy. Like that was Clay and I since day one. We've been best friends. Clay guides so much. The only time him and I ever get to hunt to hang out with each
Yeah.
other is if I have a tag or he has a tag,
Yeah.
right? Well, he doesn't get to hunt a lot for himself because he's got to go make money for the family. He's got to
Right.
go do his thing, So like typically I'm the one drawing tags and having tags and going out hunting all the time. And anytime I have a tag in Colorado, I call him. He's like, hell yeah, let's go hang out.
Yeah.
So that's how it's always been. Well, Clay finally drew his sheep tag. Like if there's one thing he can get away from his
yeah.
job and his work and all this is a sheep tag. I said, fuck, but I'm there. Like I will absolutely
Yeah.
help you. He immediately gets into, man, it's like it's on this river. Like I'll have this whole thing dialed in, and I'm like, I've seen his operation
Yeah.
before, right?
Yeah.
Like you've guided
Oh,
for
yeah.
him now for however long,
4 years.
Like and whenever I'm in Colorado, I usually stay at the lodge and
Yeah.
I'll go out from there. So I've seen the operation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like it's dialed. He knows exactly what he's
This is
doing. So
awesome.
I'm thinking.
I'm reliving all this right now.
I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, I don't have to pack my own food. I don't got to
Yeah.
do shit. Like Clay's, and
Yeah.
I'm going to help him on his hunt.
Yeah.
Like he'll have this dialed for me.
Yeah.
I get there. He doesn't have water. He doesn't have
water.
food.
Nothing.
Nothing. And sheep hunting is an all day. It's like antelope hunting on steroids. It's an all day, every day, sun up to sundown. Like it's a marathon. I mean, that's what it is. You know what I mean? And it's archery, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a archery only tag, which is extremely tough to get into a band of rams with eyesight and smell and the way they bed together. Anyways, so I'm like, I went into it thinking I didn't have to.
Yeah, you're hunting with
bring
a
it
guide.
in.
You should
And
have everything dialed.
I was told it's going to
Literally
be
a professional.
It's going to be dialed.
He is literally a professional.
It's like when you look at like someone like, hey, you look like a mom. You got any snacks? Like, you know they're gonna have snacks for their mom.
Yeah.
You see a guy like, hey, you know you're gonna have food because you're a guide. You always
you
have
know how to do
exactly
this.
extra
You know how to
things
do
all over
this.
the place.
Yeah.
So we get out, and I don't do well, obviously, with not eating
Very hungry.
and not drinking. I don't do well. So I was not in a good place. That I was sold on a dream, and it was not.
You got catfished.
It was not. But I would have been, even if he told me it would. You know, if he would have told me the truth about that, I still would have been there. Obviously, it's my best friend with a fucking.
But at least you would have
archery
brought some
tag.
food.
But I would have brought some. I would have been ready. So, anyways, I was.
I
sold
want to hear the rebuttal. What
a
was
dream.
the excuse, Clay?
I mean, honestly,
He admitted to it.
I thought it was going to be a lot different than it was. I didn't know from the moment we saw the Rams that it was an all-day thing where you continually just keep stocking them. I had good intentions to go to town every day, and buy people lunch and get waters.
He's like,
and
oh,
all
we'll
this.
figure it out when we get there.
I mean, it was a grind.
Says the professional hunter who is archery hunting sheep. It
was my first sheep
In
tag.
August,
In
by the
August.
way. It's
Yeah.
not this. I mean,
hot.
they're
It was
banded
hot.
up. Like they're with 10, 12, 15 rams every day. Like it's a band of rams,
Yeah.
man. Like that's what they do.
Yeah.
So the professional hunter didn't think that it was going to be a tough thing to do with archery tackle hunting
Toughest
sheep.
thing I've ever done.
That was the hardest hunt.
No, that
by
was
far.
a gangster hunt.
So, anyways,
but that's
that
the
was
only time I've ever seen you.
mad.
And I don't know that it was mad, but it was a definitely hangry.
Yeah.
You were on that verge.
I was mad at Clay. I
Yeah.
mean, when you're best friends, you know.
Dude, you guys
I was mad
pushed
at
me
Clay.
to a whole different level though during that thing.
I almost made
that
you
one day
puke.
when we got shot at by that lady.
That was
that was crazy.
He was
dude.
pushing me up the mountain, and I was literally like, "Fuck you, dude! I'm done. Like, I'm going back to the truck."
Dude, and Lorenzo was
Get
like,
your ass
"No."
up here!" He was coaching me to
I
the top.
tapped into my inner
Just like the
Ken
fifth
Haynes,
stock that day.
Goggins, you know.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like running up this hill because we finally have these sheep coming around where we need them for archery tackle. And I'm like, you are not fucking giving up. Like, we're running up.
was
We
spent,
will
dude.
make it. Like, we got to go. We will make it. And he's like, I'm not going to make it.
I was dehydrated. I was hungry.
I had totally
Right.
forgot about that when that lady came
all
out and
Lorenzo
did
the
that. I
chance. I was
totally
out
forgot.
of Apex. I mean, it was a
We
bad
were out of
situation.
Apex. That was the problem.
That's another one of my favorites. Though is like we were all down there. Remember we'd go
Yeah.
when we finally did get some food. We'd go to the little
the
campsite.
one out of 11 days.
Yeah.
The one day out of 11
we had a little bit of food, and we're like sharing a bag of jerky that we found under the seat or something. You know, we're all sitting around, and Lorenzo, everybody's kind of just sitting there, and he goes and grabs one of the conkers.
Yeah.
And
First
all of a
time I
sudden-
had it.
Yeah, he comes back, and all of a sudden he's just like, "Let's go!" And I'm not kidding you. It was like watching the Incredible Hulk all of a sudden just come to life. Man, Bruce Banner went to the Hulk like
Dude,
that. You know,
that exact moment when you drank that and you changed like a 180 in your
Yeah.
attitude, he turned around in an area the sheep weren't even supposed to be in. He's like, "Oh, got
Glass
10
them all
rams."
up.
Yeah,
the ram we're
the-
trying to
The
shoot.
ram we were trying to
Yeah.
kill, it was literally like meant to be.
I was like,
right there.
holy crap!
I love this shit. This is good.
Good shit.
anyways,
So yeah, getting back to Tom Brady here, because
Yeah.
that's my go. So when you sacked him, you were going somewhere with that.
Yeah, so I actually had more sacks on him than any other quarterback. So it's
Really?
like 7. I think I sacked him 7 times.
Did you ever text
Holy
him and
shit.
just remind him?
oh, did you see his Instagram retirement post?
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Well, that sack was that same season. That was 2016. And it was so Vaughn wasn't supposed to drop. He was supposed to rush, and he dropped. So the tackle and the guard tried to block me, and I took the guard and threw him over the tackle's legs, and then the tackle tried to grab me, and I threw him over the guard that had fell, and then I grabbed Tom by the jersey, and his jersey slid. He kind of flung forward and fell backwards, and he was almost going to get out of it, and I let go of it, and then I bear crawled and double teamed his legs, you know, and just double legged him.
Yeah.
And I got him there, and it was snowing, and I had the flu real bad. I mean, I was like fucked up from the flu. I was really sick. I was sleeping in my pads before the game, like in the training room, just sleeping on the table. And they came and like slapped me in the face, wake me up. Went out there, you know, take some smelling salts and let's go. And that's kind of how it went. But I ended up getting a big sack in that one, and that was a huge moment of the game. It was a fourth quarter sack that we needed bad.
Yeah, it's when you stopped him with wide open Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Game would have been completely different.
Yeah. And I mean, getting that feeling, right? It's like short lived. It's like boom, and the next play, right? Let's get to the next play. I run off the field and it's over, right? But that elk, my first elk, man, like in the work that I had to put in to get to that moment, all the different failed opportunities, all the herd bulls that I tried to get in on, and satellites were coming around and just chasing him off, chasing him and his cows off, taking my shoes off and putting stocks on by myself and telling the camera guy, fuck off, I'm going by myself, And he's like, well, what? You're paying me to do this, man. Like, I'm like, I don't care.
we doing a show
That's what it
here?
is. I get locked in. I have crazy ADHD. So like, when I get hyper focused on something, I just won't stop until I get it. Like it's almost like a curse because, my wife hates it because she's like, you're supposed to be home 5 days ago. What are you doing? And I'm like, I can't
Locked
stop.
in,
Like, I'm locked in. I can't stop. Because it just drives me crazy if I can't do it. But I taking my shoes off in the wet, walking through the wet stuff to keep my sound down, getting up into the herd and having that big 350, 360 inch bull right there. But there's a cow, there's a spike that just staring at me, and I can't get a shot off because I can't move. And then you hear him bark, and then the whole herd just like almost stampedes you, getting out of there. And it's like all those failed opportunities, day in day out. The 60 miles. Finally, we got caught in a rainstorm without our rain gear because that morning it was like 80 degrees. And I was like, fuck this rain gear. I'm taking it out of my bag. I need more water,
Yeah.
It's like I need to be able to carry more water. So I took that rain gear out of my bag. And that was a huge mistake because we get up on this mountain and it starts raining. And we're like, oh, let's just hang out on a tree for a little while.
Yeah,
and then here comes the lightning, dude. And we're at like 9,500 feet and the lightning is just all around us. And we're like, let's get the hell out. We just out of there, right? We just it was all downhill to get down, and it was just mud and wet grass, and we just slipped all the way down. And then my stuff was soaked, and that's day 4. Stuff was soaked. Next morning, just putting my foot back in there, and my clothes are all sweated out, so I put them same wet clothes back on. I didn't care. That's why the sleeves were all cut off in those pictures because I just like cut the sleeves off of them and was like, let's go.
I think we can all agree if we looked like you, we'd probably do the same shit.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
His arm's as big as my waist.
I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm going to look cool doing this. I was thinking I'm disgusting right now. Like whatever, let's go. When we get up there into those bulls in this dark timber, and I didn't know what the bull was going to look like, but as soon as I saw him, I knew he was the one. It's how you get that feeling like that's the one. This is the one I've been waiting on. And he came in there ripping bugles, and we had it on film perfect. And he came into 42 yards, and I just it's the laser focus that I get in that moment. It's like, so before I would get a sack in the NFL, it's like I knew the play. I knew that it was about to happen. Like I knew it before it happened that it was going to happen. Everything slows down. So like while I'm doing the pass rush move and everything, it's all slow motion to me. It's like everything around me is moving slow. And that's how it felt. I was like, hurry up and get over here to this. Like I'm thinking I'm on full draw and I'm like, hurry up.
Yeah.
And my camera guy's like, I'm going to stop him. And I'm like, I don't even hear him say that, right? 'Cause you can hear him on camera go, I'm going to stop him. And I'm just like, hammer him, dude, right behind the shoulder. He runs like 60, 70 yards and lays down and dies. And I didn't get like all jacked up at first, but then when I finally got my hands on him, dude, I just like tears running down my eyes.
So how does that rank then? Like sacking Tom Brady's pretty freaking cool. And then killing an elk pretty
it's
cool.
nothing compared to the elk. Nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
No. Elk
Really?
absolutely
You can
not.
honestly say that.
Yes,
Like full
I
blown.
mean it, yeah. I mean it, dude. It's absolutely
powerful
nothing.
Because which is kind of crazy.
Holding a Super Bowl trophy up in front of 1 million people and just fucking, everybody screaming your name. Like, dude, I'm telling you, the elk by myself,
Honestly,
myself when I had that moment by myself to walk
Well,
up
this
on
is
that
like
elk.
when we talk about how powerful moments are in hunting, like just experiences as a whole, not killing, but like just enjoying a hunt enough to want to do it again, like leaving with that feeling. That's something that we all know, and we all know it's like super profound in our lives.
Yeah.
But like less than 1% of 1% of the U.S. population will understand that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. So like none of us have any context to that feeling.
That's
what
why
it's like.
I'm so like, focused on this. This is
Yeah.
so amazing.
And
I
But
think that's the neatest thing I've ever heard in my whole life.
I agree.
Honest to
But
Pete,
we all
like,
know
Mike drops
I'm not
powerful.
saying it's no bullshit,
Let's
man. It's
grab my
that's
bow,
real.
let's
Like
go
that's
hunt.
real.
Yeah,
let's go.
That's real emotion. Like you gotta understand, right? So like my whole life has always been like the next goal, the next goal, the next goal. Because to me, complacency is like a disease, right? If you get comfortable, I don't like to feel comfortable. If I don't have some adversity and something I'm striving towards, then I'm uncomfortable. Like I need to feel uncomfortable. and I get comfortable.
Do you think
being
that's
in,
your childhood?
It is from my childhood because
You
it
think
was,
so?
and a little bit about. So my nights as a kid were, I'd come home and maybe there'd be some food. Maybe you just hope there's food, and if there's not, I'd go figure it out. Right? I'd go to a friend's house or run down the street somewhere and find something to eat. Right? And because like I said, man, my mom was she struggled with addiction and. She doesn't even, just a little background on her. She was abused, sexually abused as a child. So she kind of just like allowed that same abuse to happen to me as well. I was abused as a child, physically, emotionally. And it was just rough, man. So like I would hear my mom and stepdad just getting these knockdown, drag out fights where they're just beating the shit out of each other. And then, this is going to be graphic, but 20 minutes later they'd be down there fucking. So it was that's what I grew up around, and that's how my childhood was. So that's my idea of like there was no unconditional love in my house. Mm-hmm. There was no good job. It was like I figured my own way out to get cleats. I figured my own way out to get to practice because I loved doing it, and it was to me it was I didn't even think about like a way out, right? But because when you're stuck in it. You don't see any other, you just are like, I just am surviving. You're in survival mode. So every day is just like, okay, how do I get through today? Right? So it's like that next goal, just get day to day, get to the next day, get to the next day. And when I got drafted, I had $7 to my name. I didn't even have a bank account. I didn't have a debit card, any of that shit. I paid everything in cash. Nobody taught me how to do any of that stuff. So when I get drafted, like I still didn't even like get excited. I was just like, okay, what now what's the next goal? What's the next goal, right? Win a Super Bowl. I'm like, you see me on the podium after the Super Bowl, and I'm just talking about the next one. Okay, I'm like, well, I'm just going to go home and I'm going to go party for a month, and then I'm going to go back to training and try to win another one. It was like zero, like living in the moment for me, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I had a daughter of my own that I realized what that unconditional love was like, right? So it's like. It's hard to explain, right? It's hard to explain that feeling, right? And like little boys need their moms to love them, and my mom didn't show me any love. It was nothing, my mom would antagonize the beatings and stuff like that. So I didn't know what that felt like. So when I finally had a daughter, and feeling like knowing that there's somebody out there, that there's one person that no matter what I do, she'll love me, no matter what. Yeah. That's a powerful thing, man, and. That's why it's weird how this kind of ties into the hunting because I find it's my therapy. Being out there and struggling and going through it. Like I don't want an easy hunt. I don't want to just step out of the truck and hunt something and shoot something. That's why I love the bow hunt because I know even if you do step out of the truck, I still got to get close to them. Yep. Mm-hmm. Right? There's still going to be disappointment and struggle and unknown, the fear of the unknown of what could happen, what can go wrong here. You could do everything right and still the deer could just be like, oh, I'm going this way, and that's life, right? You never know what's going to happen. And I never let fear drive the train ever because the fear of the unknown has been part of my life since coming out of the womb. I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen the next day. Yeah. You don't know what you're getting into. You don't know how I went to 7 different elementary schools, lived in it seemed like every year the bank was coming to taking the house, so it was like, I never knew how I was getting to school. I didn't know where my lunch was coming from. I didn't know where my breakfast was coming from. It was just, that's the way it was. So I figured it out, just survive. And that's why I love being in the backcountry and I love chasing big animals with a bow because it is therapy. Mm-hmm. It is the best kind of therapy. I've done intense therapy to get over the childhood trauma and everything. None of it works.
Getting in the mountains.
But getting in the mountains and being out there with my own thoughts and struggling and then striving for something, that's what does it for me. And it's been like I was worried about like leaving football, what it was going to do to me. Because that adrenaline, you need the adrenaline and you need the constant like driver, what's driving me every day, what's pushing me, what's my reason, what's my why, right? Why do I get up, right? And even when I'm in I just did a mountain lion hunt that I was on Tucker Carlson and shit.
Everyone's heard that one.
It was wild, right? But that hunt was like one of the most physically. I've been through some tough training camps where I had like full body cramps and shit like that. But as far as like physically demanding, on a 1-day hunt, I was full body cramping, crawling through the snow, up and down the mountains to get to this this lion, and Alex Nestor's calling me every 5 minutes. Where are you at? You're a professional football player. You're a disgrace. You know, like,
Freaking Nestor.
you know, how do you call yourself a hunter? Like, yo, come on, where are you at? Hurry. And like and dude, I crawled the whole way because that's the other part, right? When you wear a size 15,
Yeah.
you're not getting a good pair of boots, really. You're getting
Sure.
like the only pair of boots.
The only,
Right?
The only option available.
Yeah, so like I'm out there on, you know, steep straight up and down inclines in 3 feet of snow. There's, you know, I can't post hole in the boots I was wearing. It just doesn't work. So I'm just slipping and sliding. So I got my bow in one hand. And that's the other thing about Nestor. He'll leave you with all the leashes and water and take off. And so I got the pack on with all the water and shit. And I'd been snowboarding for like 3 days straight before that. So my legs were fried already getting up there. Because, you know, when it comes to lion hunting, when the snow comes, that's when you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't plan a hunt. You know, it's like, this is when we're going, let's go.
So did you hunt behind dogs? You put that line in a tree, right?
Yeah, put the line in a tree. And really what we should have done was just let the dogs do the work. Instead, he was like, let's go, you know. And we go straight up and then straight back down and up this drainage, crawling through all this blow down and then back up and over. And I had lost him at that point. He was way ahead of me because he's got like nice scarpas on. He's, you know, no problem getting through there. I'm like, slip, fall, slide down the hill 3 feet, and then crawl back up 5 feet just to slide another 3 feet backwards. And that's how it went. So I was like, all right, I'm just crawling then. So I took my bow, put it in my hand, and just crawled with one hand and two knees, and just got after it. And then he's like, I'm gonna drop you this pin. Come straight to the pin.
Straight, yeah.
That doesn't mean follow my tracks and then come drop down on the pin. Come straight. He said, when you get the pin drop, come straight to the pin. I said, okay. I got to finally get to the top of this ridge, and I'm talking like my quads, my hamstrings, my calves, my ribs.
Worst
my
you've ever
forearms.
felt?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, and I've gone into full body cramps where like I was like I wake up and I got IVs in my arms and I'm in a cold bath, right? I needed that. If it wasn't for the snow and me being able to lay in the snow, I would have probably overheated because I just was like sweating, crazy sweating, crawling through this stuff. And that was the other thing, right? So I go straight to the pin. I get to the top, follow his tracks for a little bit, and the pin was like moving on me for some reason. So I was like, oh, you know, dude, whatever.
Not an R app.
It should, right. It wasn't GoHunt's app. No, he dropped me the pin on another app.
Yeah.
So I had to that was the other thing, trying to get the app to download while I'm on the mountain, right?
Yeah, that's the worst.
Was like,
Good
that took like
times.
30 minutes,
yeah.
right? So I'm just like, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna hydrate a little bit while this is going on. And it wouldn't download. So I used Google. I tried to use Google and that wasn't working. It was like, so I just was like, whatever, I'm going straight there, whatever. This is where it looked like it was at. I went straight there. Well, it dropped me down on the road. And I call him, I'm like, dude, I'm on the pin. He's like, do you hear the dogs? And I'm like, yeah, through the phone. And he's like, you got to come back up, bud. And I'm like, he's like, then we're going to lose this cat. He's freaking out, right? He's like, oh, you idiot, we're going to lose. This is a giant cat. We're going to lose him. I was like, okay, whatever, dude, I'm coming, you know. And I crawled dude, I'm talking, that was the most miserable part. Crawling, because it was like 8,500 feet to 9,600 feet. So I had another 1,000 feet to go. And I had to crawl up that, dude. And there's videos of me, like, I'm laying under the tree where the lion's at, and this lion's just staring at me, like, you know. I'm like, oh my. I was like, don't fall out of the tree, please.
Yeah.
I want to know what it was like walking up underneath that tree.
Oh,
To see that lion.
Dude,
'Cause
I was
I've
so
had-
exhausted, I didn't care. I was
Yeah.
like, just follow me and just take me. Just follow me and take me. You know, I was like, but that was the thing, man. There were so many times in that hunt that I wanted, like from the start, that my body was, and my mind were trying to tell me, just quit, dude. You can't do it. You're not going to be able to do this.
So on the physical side in the NFL compared to hunting, are they similar in a way or?
Way different.
It's totally
way different because the football season is similar because it's like this long drawn
grind,
out,
yeah.
like just beat down, really is what it is. You're just getting beat up. And how long can you last, right? It's who can stay healthy the longest. And that's what it's about. But in the back, and a football play is 6 seconds long, right? So I go as hard as I can for 6 seconds, and then I get 20 to 30 seconds to rest, and then do it again, and then keep doing that 60 times a game, and then come to practice and do it again, and then another practice, and another practice, and then another workout, and then you know it's like compounding interest. You just keep putting those deposits in, and it will pay off. But with hunting, it's like you can't blow your load right away. you gotta like, you can't go in there and 3-pump chumper. You know, you gotta go in there for the long haul.
Yep.
You know, we're trying to. I don't want to get vulgar, no, but you're trying to get at. You got to get, if you're going to really get after it, you have to plan ahead. You got to make sure you have enough water. You got to make sure you have enough food. And that's the other thing. When you're a big dude, the calorie intake is
You
like
need a lot more calories,
I need
yeah.
like 5,000 calories to like not die out there. Really, right? Like if not, I'm gonna have zero energy. And it's got to be good calories. So finding those good calories that don't take up a ton of space is tough. So I use like green belly bars and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. I love green belly.
Yeah, those help, but
Yeah.
the problem is they come out the same way they go in. They look about
Yeah,
the
they're
same.
chalky. Yeah.
and it makes your mouth dry. And
Yep.
but
Yeah, I know the feeling.
I mean, they take 1,000 calories and make it this big, right? And it's like, it's impressive.
Yeah.
So that works, but still, and then at night you're just eating a peak meal, and that peak meal in the morning is going. It comes out. The biscuits and gravy don't look great, And those are what 2,000 calories or something like that. So, I'd do a peak meal in the morning, green belly in the middle of the day, a peak meal at night, and that kind of got me through the backcountry stuff. But when I was on that elk hunt in New Mexico, it was a little bit different because we actually had we had a camp cook. Mm-hmm. So you don't really eat any breakfast. You eat like a honey bun in the morning, and it's like, this isn't doing it for me.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the day, it's like, okay, green belly, and then at night, then you actually get some good food. But the problem is you spend the first half of your morning, taking 3 or 4 dumps because
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that's just the way it goes, man. Like,
You get monkey butt, and it's no fun.
yeah, you don't want to be up there, like growling in your stomach. And so it was a little bit different in New Mexico, but it was still nice. And, but like I said, man, the hunting has been just such a good transition for me out of football. It's been perfect for me. And that's why I'm actually taking the initiative now to work with guys like Chad Conley with 50 for the Fallen. We're working with the Green Bay Packers strength coach there's a lot of guys that we relate to. The reason why we relate to veterans so well is because it's the adrenaline sport, right? Mm-hmm. I know their adrenaline is a little bit different than ours, but it's all perspective. Your adrenaline's really high and then it's really low, really high, really low, really high, really low. So you're getting these high adrenaline spikes, and then they dump, and then back up, and then dump, and it's hard to stay even through all that, right? So when you're done and those are gone, you're like searching like you're lost, right? You're just looking for that up and down in that adversity that you need, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why veterans and football players, when they come out of that are like so connected, and we can kind of relate in that way. I know they're fighting for their life, right? They're getting bullets shot at them. It's a little bit different, but like I said, it's all perspective. Yeah. And that's why I feel like I have like such a platform here that I can help, and I can kind of bring awareness to it. And we're going to do a lot of stuff to help football players and help veterans and kind of get us all together and create that camaraderie and put us in those environments where we can get those adrenaline spikes. And, and it is a huge dump when you shoot an elk, you just want to lay down and go
exhausted.
You want to lay down.
Yeah.
Your legs are shaking.
Yeah,
there's nothing like it.
And that's when the work just begins.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's my problem with elk.
Yeah.
The pack out and the pack out, right? And like something about it, man, I just love it. Like I love putting 160 pounds on my back and trying to get out of there, right? Because it is an absolute struggle. But and that's the other thing. If you let somebody carry your pack, man, you might as well. I'm not hunting with you anymore. Right? Like you can't let somebody else carry your pack. You gotta. You can come get my bow, but you ain't taking this pack off me. Like you can come get my bow and maybe the skull, but that's about it. I'm carrying this meat out of here.
Yeah. It's yours.
That's mine. This is mine. I want to. And there's nothing like getting to the tailgate of a truck and just.
the best feeling.
There's nothing like that.
And knowing that, like, finally I'm here, right? Like 5 miles later. My feet are all burnt red and I got blisters all over it. And like, it's the best feeling.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it, man. It's the accomplishment the feeling of accomplishment is just, it's unmatched. It really, that's why whenever we talk about, okay, you're getting sacks in a Super Bowl, like I watch as a kid, right? When I was 7 years old, I watched Reggie White run around the field with the Green Bay Packers and that's why I said, I was like, I want to put a Super Bowl championship T-shirt over my pads and run around the field with a Lombardi trophy. I got to do that, but listen, ever since I started hunting as a kid, killing an elk with my bow was the goal, was the dream, and nothing compared to that. I'm telling you, getting a sack in the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, running around the field with that shirt on. It didn't compare to the time to walking up on that elk and put my hands on him. I'm telling you, dude, I was like a baby, just tears running down my eyes.
Which is really cool to me because more people have the opportunity to experience that elk thing. So they're going to get that rush.
Everybody can.
Yeah.
Anybody can do
NFL
it.
side is so rare. But like
Yeah.
you're saying right now, that is such a special moment. That means hunting is just that much more powerful and changes people's lives.
Yeah.
Well, the
like literally
primal,
daily.
so like that's the other thing. I've talked to Clay about this. That it's like a calling. Like when I've been out of the backwoods for too long, I get this. It's like I'm getting a calling, and it sounds so like cliche, right? But it's like something is calling me. I don't know if it's like my Viking ancestors or what. Like I did the DNA testing, and I've done some EMDR training, which is like light therapy, and it takes you into like past lives and stuff like that, which is crazy and interesting to me. And going back in these past lives, I go back to like these Viking times where I'm like this Viking warrior and I'm like on missions to hunt. Like my goal is to hunt.
Yeah.
And that's where sports come from. Sports all come from training to hunt. That's where they come from. It was just a bunch of dudes like, hey, what can we do for fun to like get ready for hunts, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's what it was all about. That's how they fed their entire tribes. You know,
Sport.
It was all sport. So they created sports to get ready for hunts and to test your manhood to see if you were ready.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what it's all about, man. It's like this primal, like bringing me right back and grounding me and making me feel like I'm at home, right? And that's where I feel at home is back there in the woods.
You say it sounds cliche, but I guarantee you, everybody sitting at the table and anybody that's listening that's ever hunted before, I guarantee you they relate because they feel the same way. I mean, as you're talking, I mean, you're doing my heart good because I feel the exact same way. I
Right.
mean, I feel the exact same feelings when I'm in the woods, you know. So I totally get it. I totally relate, and I think. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's,
Yeah. There's almost something spiritual about,
just
you know,
there
and
is.
connecting with Mother
Yeah.
Nature, you know.
Well, it's
and-
like, you know, it doesn't matter who your God is. You'll
Yeah.
never be closer to him than when you're out there hunting.
That's right.
That's like
The vulnerability
I don't care who it is,
is
but you'll
just-
be the closest to him during that
Yep.
that time out there.
Yep,
Yep.
I agree.
I agree.
I was looking at that lion, one of the most impressive animals you've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the one thing I remember. So I've only ever done it one time, and I shot a big tom. It was a big tom. It was a book tom, but I remember walking up underneath that tree and seeing the lion in the tree and just thinking like that was the overwhelming feeling I had was that is one of the most impressive creatures I've ever seen in my life.
That's how it felt when I went to full draw on him and I like being exhausted, right? And just barely able to stand. Because like I said, I would stand up and I couldn't take a step without my legs locking up. I couldn't walk. There was no walking. I crawled backwards down the hill with him on my back because
Yeah.
I couldn't walk. So when I pulled my bow back, I was like, holy shit. Like, this is incredible. That
Yeah.
thing is, you know, and it's the way they look at you, like they're because when you shoot elk and deer and stuff, they don't really know you're there until last second, right? But this thing has watched me climb all the way up this mountain, and I'd laid right underneath of him, and now he's just staring me down, staring right into my eyes, and I was like, oh, I better make a good shot because if he comes down this tree, he's coming right after me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I center punched him right in the chest, and it was a perfect shot, and it was it was incredible. When I put my hands on him, I couldn't believe how big of an.
Isn't that crazy?
It's like these things are out here.
Yeah, wandering
They could
around.
kill us whenever they want.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
literally could.
They could. They could kill you
Very-
whenever they want. That thing could have. I mean, I'm 280 pounds. If you look, if people want to go look at the picture, it's on my Instagram, Derek Wolfe _95. Go check it out. There's no photoshopping this. We're on the side of a mountain, right? And Alex is just as tired as I am, right? So he's like, just pulled the phone up and took a picture of it, and you know, not realizing what was going to come from it. But you know, I'm holding this lion, and I mean.
It made you look little, man.
Dude, I mean,
that's
I
hard
was
to
gonna
do.
say, guys
I mean-
that run a lot of lions. I mean, they'll say that 100, you know, that a giant cat, 170 pounds, 175
Well, this thing was
pounds.
173 pounds.
I was
gutted.
I was gonna say that cat looked every bit of it. I mean, that's one of the biggest cats I think I've ever seen.
8.5 feet long. We measured him out at 8.5
it was
feet.
a big
To make
lion.
Derek look small,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
big animal.
Just knowing how big you are and how small that thing made you look.
When I
was
grabbed the first
old
thing I
pumpkin
grabbed
head.
on him because I shot him and then I just like fell down, right?
Yeah.
And then Alex like takes off running down the hill. He's like, "Don't let the dogs go yet. They'll keep them leashed up." I'm like, "All right." And he runs
You're
down.
like,
He's
"All
like,
good."
You know how if anybody's
move.
ever hunted with Alex, this dude is hilarious. Like he's awful.
He's very high strung.
He's
and
high strung.
Has no patience for
No
the
patience.
people with him.
No patience. But like you were talking about Lorenzo coaching you. He was doing the same thing. He's, come on, one more push, you got it. And I'm like, I know,
call you out.
I know, I got it. Yo, he'll call you out, and I'm cool with that. Like, sometimes you need it, right? You need the little kick in the ass to keep going. And like I said, I just slid down there to him. I got the leashes on the dogs, and I let the dogs run down there to him. Or I got the leashes off the dogs and let the dogs run down there to him. He's like, we got our big Tom down here, buddy. You know, he's huge. Wait till you see him. You know, he's freaking out. He was so fired up. And then I get down there, and the first thing I did was grab him by the paws. And I couldn't believe, because I got big hands. You know, it's 11 and a half inches from the tip of my pinky to the tip of my thumb. It's 11 and a half inches. And his paws were like fitting right in there.
Holy smokes.
And they were,
you know that because they measure that in the NFL.
Yeah,
right?
they measure
It's just
it.
the weirdest thing to me that they do, but they must have some kind
Well,
of
it's
data.
like if anybody's ever been to a stock show, it's the same. The combine is a stock show. I mean, they walk you out there in your underwear.
Look at everything.
In a big line,
Yeah,
in a big
so
line,
it
in a
is,
big
yeah.
line. We're in a big line, just waiting, walking in a line, and we get up on a stage, and they weigh you, they measure you, they measure your hands, your wingspan. And
I always thought the hand thing was
they measure
so
your
weird to
feet,
me.
they measure your legs. They like.
Every time they
is.
go up, you go up to that ruler thing and measure your hand. I'm like, this is the weirdest
Yeah.
test. But like they must have some data that shows it's for something.
It's weird, man. And then they do like the medical test at the combine, or even stranger, because they lay you on a table, and there's like every team that's interested in you, their doctors are in there. So their orthopedic surgeon doctors are in there, and they're all just like moving you around. Like there's one guy on my arm, another guy on my left arm, a guy on my knee, like checking my knees,
Jeez.
and my ankles. And it's like they're just taking turns checking it, you know. And it's like, this is wild. Like for an hour, you're just laying there getting, because you're just a piece of machinery, man. You're just
You're an investment.
yeah.
Yeah, literally.
All that matters.
Yeah.
Well, you're a rancher. What happens when a piece of machinery breaks down? If you can't fix it, what do?
Replace it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what happens when you go buy a car, right? You test drive it, you check under the hood, you check the oil, make sure the oil's been changed, check the Carfax, and that's what they're doing. They're
Tell
just,
me they checked your oil?
they check everything. They check your pee. They check your pee.
They
check
measured
your balls,
everything?
They check everything.
It's so crazy.
They check everything, man. They do everything.
I was
You get
gonna say
MRIs and different scans and stuff. It's wild.
That is crazy.
So crazy, man.
I got a question I want to ask before I forget it. But so I've got 3 boys. I've got my oldest is 17. He plays high school basketball right now, and he's really into it. But I would be interested from your perspective, somebody who's played sports at the highest level possible. What's the best piece of coaching advice you've ever been given? If you can.
That's a great question.
Oh, the best. I mean, I've had some really good coaches, man. But the best piece of advice I got from a coach was that don't sacrifice what you want most for what you want right now. And to make sense of that is like, you know, for example, right, you have to sacrifice, right? So when you, especially in college, when you get to like the college level, all of your classmates and all of your, even your teammates are out fucking around, partying, and, you know, doing shit that they shouldn't be doing, or really like all the other college kids
being
get to
your typical
experience. But
college kid.
you have to just don't sacrifice what you have in the long run, what your long-term goal is for what you want right now. And that was like the best piece of advice I ever got, because it just stuck with me. And Lauren Landau told me that. And he was, you know, he told me that the year before I was going into a contract year, we won the Super Bowl, I got a big contract. He told me that because he saw that I had a little bit of wild in me. I was a wild. Ask any of my team, I was fucking wild. Like
I can only imagine.
Like I would work hard, but I played even harder. And he was like, you know, hey bud, put the tequila down. Don't sacrifice what you want the most for what you want right now. He's like, I know what you want right now is to go have a good time, but let's lock it in. Like, let's lock it in for this offseason, and let's put it together, and let's go win a Super Bowl. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And that was like, and then that just stuck with me. And now it's just rolled with me into life now. That, you know, I'm not going to sacrifice, right? I'm not going to sacrifice my marriage for this one, you know, Jezebel, right? Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sacrifice my family for this one little piece of fun, right? It's stupid. And that's like the best piece of advice I ever got as a player.
Long-term perspective.
One time Peyton did tell me, the more plays my rookie year, Peyton Manning told me, he's like, the more plays you get, the more pussy you're going to get.
Peyton Manning said that?
Yeah. He's like,
He
so
comes
don't-
across
he's like,
as
so,
like the,
Yeah, button up, huh?
yeah, he's all buttoned up.
he's buttoned up, but he likes to have fun. You know,
kinda-
he's like,
yeah.
he's like, listen, man. He's like, I know you guys want to party. I know you want to. This is at like a breakfast, right? We're like at breakfast, and he's like, I know you want to party. I know you want to have fun. He's like, but listen, let me tell you something. The more plays you make, the more girls you're gonna get, you know. And I was like, all right, you know, that makes sense.
It makes total sense.
So, and he was right, you know,
Yeah.
and he was right, you know, that's the way it goes. But then once you get that's the crazy thing is the transition in the league is coming in as a single guy and your first 4 years, then transitioning into a married guy with kids and a wife. And
I
it's
can't
like,
imagine.
it's a whole different life. It's a whole different life, man. It changed my world. And like when I found out I was having a daughter, man, it shook me. I was shook because I was like, oh shit, like the responsibility that I felt immediately was incredible. And now it's just, you know, she's the joy of my life, man. She's everything. So it is, you know, she likes to hear, she's the best, man. She's daddy's girl. She wants to hear about the wildcat at night, right? That's like her favorite story is me to tell her about the mountain lion.
Yeah.
Like she wants to hear that story. That's like her bedtime story, you know?
That's
So-
awesome.
That's pretty cool
That is
bedtime
really
story.
awesome.
It's really awesome.
So it's fun.
Yeah, Peyton, I mean, look, when you're a leader of a locker room, I mean,
They
you can
called
be
him the
buttoned
sheriff,
up,
man.
yeah.
They called him
You
the
can be
sheriff,
buttoned
and he
up,
was
but-
the sheriff. But like, you better believe that post game, you know, we get a win on the plane ride home. He's cracking some butt heavies, straight diesel fuel, man.
Straight diesel, huh?
Yeah, and he's a good old boy from New Orleans. You know, he's a Southern boy at heart, and he just likes to have a good time and wants to win. He's a competitor no matter what. I don't know if anybody watched the Pro Bowl flag football Pro Bowl this year. He was like legitimately pissed about the last play. You know, like, and that's real. He really cares. Like, he does not want to lose. He coaches his son's youth football team. Right, and it's like intense coaching out there.
I can only imagine.
Like they have like meetings and stuff on the like with the coaches, like in Little League football, you know. So,
That's
so
awesome.
he's like he's like as far as a competitor goes, like at the highest level, this dude did everything like a professional. Like he would watch film in the cold tub with his helmet on, stuff
What?
like that. Yeah, yeah. He'd
be pretty wild to see.
We played
Yeah,
a
in the
game.
cold tub with the
We
helmet.
lost to the Ravens in 2012 in the playoffs. They went on to win the Super Bowl, but we lost to them, and it was -14. It was freezing ass cold out there. I mean, we were all frozen. And so the next season, in training camp, he had a bucket of ice water, like out there, and he was like stick his hand in it and hold it there for like 30, 40 seconds, and then snap the football, catch it with his hands ice cold, and throw it. And that's
Just to practice for those moments.
because he was like, I need to practice that. And like, I need to practice my hands being cold. That's the kind of guy he was. And
I
it was
respect
just to
that
be
shit so
around
much.
that,
I
to
love
be
that.
around that, just like,
Yeah.
and his
And
level of
motivate you.
preparation and the way he practiced, like,
And these are the little things that, you know, unless you have access to people like yourself that have witnessed it firsthand and can
for sure.
share, these are those little nuggets that you don't
Yeah.
ever get to see, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the
You know,
good shit.
this
I'm
is
sitting here just beaming.
Yeah,
this is
this is-
fantastic.
yeah,
I
it's
love this
crazy.
stuff.
yeah, it's, I mean,
amazing.
I got to be around a lot of really just unbelievable Hall of Fame caliber players that are, you know, first ballot Hall of Famers. DeMarcus Ware was another guy, like I mentioned earlier. This dude, I mean, every little detail was just like, he would watch the quarterback on like when a quarterback snaps a football, they'll do this, they'll stomp their foot. He would watch the speed of of how they would move their hands to determine if he could get off the ball faster. Because it's a game of like inches and seconds and milliseconds, and just everybody's good, right? Because when you're in the NFL, that's the best player on that. They're world class athletes. Even
All the way through.
even like the last guy on the roster is still a world class athlete. So you're playing against the best every day, even in practice. So you're just like constantly in competition mode and constantly in trying to find what can make me a little bit better. And it's doing that has made me a better hunter because now I get out there and I'm like, okay, what can I do that the other guy's not doing? Right? What is this guy doing what's he doing wrong, right? How can I find, like with animals, right? How is this deer moving? How is this elk moving? What areas is he sleeping in, right? Finding just the little things that can give you the edge. And that's how I learned that kind of thing from Peyton Manning, from DeMarcus Ware, and I just took that into life because I didn't have a father to teach me those kind of things, right? So those guys were always like a father. Like I was 7 years old when Peyton got drafted in the NFL, right? So his first year in the league, I was 7 years
That's
old.
fucking crazy.
So I looked at
7
him
years
as like
old?
he
Yeah.
was like a father figure, and he's like been a great friend to me still. And that was, you know, how we talk about guys that like I talk about Tom and how every teammate of his never has anything bad to say about him. They always, it's all Tom is like a guy. He's one of the guys, and it's being relatable. I talked to you about why that's what makes you such a great leader is that you stay relatable, you are so relatable to the rest of your business and your company that you treat everybody the same, you talk to everybody the same, and that's how Peyton was. He treated the 53rd guy on the roster just like he treated his starting running back or his starting receiver. He treated everybody the same. And that's like, to me, that's like the sign of a good man, right? How do you treat the guys that can't do shit for you, right?
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, the way I am and who I am, it doesn't matter if I was Elon Musk. There is still nothing more than I would love to just go hunting with us. You know what I mean? Even if I was on that level. Like, so I am the consumer within the industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I am that at heart. That's literally who I am.
That's why this is such a great company.
And I don't have an issue with that. I don't want to be known for anything else than just being like a guy who can show up hunting and we go hunting. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. That's all I ever cared about.
Right.
That's it.
Well, that's what I was talking to Brian Barney about over to Eastman's. He was like, "Oh man, that's pretty cool. You're gonna be on the cover of Eastman's." This now I was like, "Dude, I've been on the cover of Sports Illustrated a couple times. I don't give a shit. But I made Eastman's. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's pretty
Like,
cool.
it's pretty badass, man." I was like, "This is awesome."
Yeah.
You know, so like to me, like making the cover of Eastman's was like that was everything.
I kind of feel weird making this comparison because it's vastly different in like the level of level of talent output, whatever you want to call it, to be at like the highest level of, less than 1% of 1%. Like when he's going through all that stuff about just finding those little edges, all that stuff, that is literally what we do.
It is.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like when he was talking through that and I'm thinking, like, that is literally what I do. Like I pay attention to what other people are doing and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, how can I be different to be in a different spot?
Yeah.
To kill a little bit better, to kill a little bit more. Like
Yeah.
I'm always, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Like
just
I
saw-
hate to make that comparison because it's little in the scheme of what,
It's kinda like
you
going out there and
DeMarcus Ware are talking about, obviously.
Yeah.
But like it's always about gaining that little tiny edge. So it's kind of interesting to like draw very clear comparisons there, on a much smaller level, just to be clear again for the third time.
Yeah.
But like it's always looking for that edge. Always.
It's
Like it doesn't change.
It's literally going out, shooting your bow in the wind.
Yeah.
Shooting your rifle in the wind, trying to dope everything. Because
Yep.
that hunting situation, it's not going to be dead calm like you practice every single day.
Exactly.
That's why I hate shooting at ranges. I can't
Yeah,
stand it.
because you shoot
Hate
perfect.
it. Yeah.
Your
every time.
adrenaline's not going. You're not running up a mountain really quick. That's why I like going out to a 3D range and like maybe I should run to the next target really quick because I know when I'm hunting I'm going to be running up that mountain chasing that animal.
Yeah.
I need to do that exact same thing.
I'm glad you're mentioning that because you don't even need a 3D range. I do that in my basement.
Yeah, you do the
I
same
have a
thing.
gym in my basement. I go in there and I'll put 100 pounds in my pack. I'll take plates and just pack them in my pack. I'll get on an incline. I'll swing kettlebells around. I'll do crazy lunges and then I'll get on an incline and walk for a half a mile and jump off and just rip shots when my heart rate is high as hell. Right, my heart rate's at like 150, 145, 160 even. And I'll rip shots in my basement at 20 yards.
Yeah.
Right? And just make sure I could die. Can I lock it in for just a second?
Yep.
Because all you need is 1 second. I just need to lock it in for a second, release, I'm good.
I like to get my heart rate really high. So like run, Stairmaster, whatever it is, and doing shoulder raises to get, like when you have that adrenaline dump and you get that heavy arm feeling.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at least that's what I get when
I get it
when I'm
too.
in the moment. I get that like you're just so overwhelmed with the emotion and the adrenaline, like your arms feel super heavy.
Yeah.
So I get to my shoulders to a point where I'm like pretty beat up.
Yeah.
And get my heart rate high and then try to shoot. That's
Where
done.
the bow feels just so
Yes,
heavy in
where
your
like
arm.
you're trying
when
to
you pull
lift
that
that,
up.
trying to lift that
But
10-pound bow.
but doing it with a rifle at like long distance, like
That's when all that practice plays out.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the
You
hard.
to know it.
The hard part is the adrenaline heart rate is way different than just a high heart rate. Because like high heart rate, you get your heart rate to 170, 180, 185, whatever it is. It doesn't have that like deep pounding thump.
Yeah.
You know what I
Doesn't
mean?
feel like
Oh,
it goes
exactly
to
where it's
That
at.
adrenaline, the adrenaline heart rate is like it's like
You
a
can
really
feel
deep
it, like, yeah,
pound.
everywhere.
in your
There's no
chest.
feeling like
There's
that.
literally
but,
no feeling like it.
but to me,
Validated by a guy who's got some pretty crazy experiences.
Yeah.
To say the same.
Yeah.
but to me though is I don't want to feel that shock of holy shit, my heart is pounding out of my chest and I can't breathe.
Yeah.
On top of the adrenaline, I'd rather know that I've made myself feel this way. And I like I said, I practice like I play, right? So I am going to put myself in that situation, right? I'm going to forge myself in the fire first. That way it's not a shock to my system when I get out there. Because it's going to be a shock. If you've never done it and you've never had an elk just screaming and it rattles your chest, and you're like at full draw and you're just like, I mean, it'd be easy to screw it up, and that's why a lot of guys screw it up because they haven't practiced. Especially if you come from the East Coast or from a lower altitude area, and you get into those high altitudes, you can't catch your breath. So you have to practice. I do crazy things. I'll practice belly breathing, taking deep breaths, doing double exhales, filling my lungs and filling my belly full of air, and then releasing it slow so I can get all that oxygen. And people they start panting and they hyperventilate.
They don't know how to get it under control.
Right, because they panic.
Yeah. And we've talked about this on a previous podcast. Might have been like our first or second one, but the process. That's what I like
you
about
have to
having a
establish your
process. Exactly.
Yeah, the interesting thing is like it's everybody I know that does the thing the very best. Like whether you're talking, your level in athletics, or you're talking somebody that's like top level bow hunter. Every top level bow hunter still feels that same way that I feel. They feel the same. They say they feel the same adrenaline dump, the same emotions, the same overwhelming feelings. It's just they've developed the ability to handle it, to control it. To navigate it. It's not that they don't feel it, they do, they just can handle it.
That's the process for me is what helps me manage that.
Yeah.
Like I have my process, like I carry my bow release in the same spot. I have the same process every time I go into kill mode. It's the same, I do the same things, same steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
You grab the bow release, hook it on, take the deep breath, settle the pins, it's always the same thing. And a perfect practice makes perfect, right?
Yep.
Practice doesn't make perfect. It's perfect practice makes perfect.
Yep.
That's why I can't stand going to the range. Like you guys know my theory on my archery hunting.
It's definitely interesting. Very interesting.
And I have,
but it works for you though.
it does work for me because I don't want to develop range practice or like range process, right? So I truly believe the only way to get good at killing is to kill.
Yep.
So like my biggest advice to everybody always when they ask about, hunting, like those guys we ran into at the Western Hunting Expo, and they were asking about getting into, they had moved out west, and they were asking Trail and I about how to get good at it. Said pick up any and every tag you can. Doe tags, cow tags, doe antelope tag. It doesn't matter what it is. Just go practice killing because it's like it's your only thing. It's like the only way to actually get good at that.
Yeah.
And so bow season for me, I'll only shoot my bow once a week, maybe. And I'll only shoot, maybe a quiver of arrows, maybe 6, maybe 10 if I'm not shooting great. And I'll try to fix that last little bit. But I don't want to develop a range practice or a range
mentality.
process, right? Like I don't want to get good at a process at the range. I have my process when I hunt, and I don't want anything to start like interfering with that. And it's worked for me.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I haven't
like
developed any
you don't.
There's
shoot
like a
targets.
transition
no, I
too
don't. I don't shoot targets. I'll shoot, like I said, once a week going into a big hunt. Like I'm going to try to kill a couple. I have a stone sheep hunt this year. I'm going to try to kill it with my bow. So like I'm going to make sure I'm ready and dialed.
Make
like,
sure the bow's shooting straight.
Yeah, make sure I'm
zeroed.
I mean, I don't want
Gears
anybody to
dialed
think I'm
in,
just
right?
out there, running and gunning with no practice or making sure anything's dialed in. Like I'll clearly be dialed in, but I'm just not going to sit there at a range and focus on a range style process.
'Cause you don't wanna develop
that'll
a-
just mess
It's a
with
bad
my head.
habit. You're developing a bad habit.
That's not perfect practice. That's
Right. I think it
could
depends.
be perfect range practice.
Well, and something
everyone's
that-
different.
I'm different. I'm a
Everyone's
range
different.
guy. I'm there every morning from 7 a.m. to 8:30, and I'm shooting 100 arrows a day, and I do it every single day. And I feel like to me, I have to dumb things down.
Yeah.
Like I have to make it as dumb as it possibly can be, so that it's like automatic in the moment.
Yeah.
So that like my anchor point, I hit it absolutely because I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little different. It's a little different for
It's
everybody.
that muscle memory type.
Yeah,
type
it
thing.
has to be.
And that's why I'll shoot once a week is to
Yeah.
drill in,
Yeah.
my
Your anchor and-
anchors and my buttons and all that stuff. Like I will do that. And obviously, like I've grown up shooting a bow for a long time, so I've done it a lot.
Yeah.
But like my mind, I'll get ahead of myself a lot. And we talked
Yeah.
about this in Travis Nowotny's podcast. Like my mind will get ahead of me, and it'll create some bad thoughts and habits for me. So that's what I manage mentally for myself is like not letting myself get ahead.
Yeah.
So that's why I can't do that. I'd start getting,
Yeah,
I wish I
into
could do
your
that
head.
honestly.
Yeah.
I'll start getting into my head, like deep into my head, and then I'll start fucking things up.
Well, and something that you said that kind of struck me, because Clay has said this a gazillion times, and that is, making that transition from a hunter to a killer, because there are lots and lots and lots of guys that hunt. But when you start looking at elk, or you start even looking at big deer or antelope, whatever it is that you're pursuing, in that moment, can you transition from the hunter that got yourself into that position to being the killer
now being
and
the
make
killer.
the shot,
Yeah.
when it counts? And
That mule deer we did, was one of those
We went straight
situations.
kill mode.
Yeah, we went straight into like.
I
I'm not out here
genuinely
to
think
fuck
though
around,
that's
you know?
that's your athletics though too, to go into kill mode. I do because my wife, she highest level softball player. She made the Olympic team. They did away with the Olympics, so she didn't get to play, which is total bullshit, by the way.
Yeah,
but anyways, like she transitioned very well into archery hunting because she had that like high level athlete, and I saw it. I obviously haven't like been with you in the learning process, but with her, I saw it transition immediately that she was able to like go into that focus mode. So I think like that's a huge benefit.
Well,
for you.
it's being able to slow your heart rate down in a high stress.
Yeah.
When the stress is high, and you know there's only there's a small population of the world that can do that, because people get freaked out and they just panic, right? Instead of like, okay, what can I control right now?
Like Clay in front of the camera yesterday. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
Totally wet cat.
Just went straight wet cat. Didn't know what to do. It's like just take
Car
a
work
breath.
good.
Just
Like,
relax, like you're talking
relax,
to
man.
like you're talking to your boys, you know.
Yeah.
And that's so like on that mule deer, I knew it was gonna be I knew we were gonna take a long shot, right? So I'm in full draw standing. I'm at full draw. I don't even see the deer yet. Clay's like up on.
Are you talking about Forcosaurus again?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, your deer that you hunted 10, 12, 15
Yeah, he
days,
was
whatever
like-
it was.
Well-
He got it killed in one day.
Yeah. Clay's like, go to full draw and then just step up here. I was like, all right. So I'm standing in the water, go to full draw, and I step up, and I like peek my head up, and there he is. He's walking, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, how far is he? He's like 90, and I was like, and he keeps walking. I was like, how about now? He's like 80. Wait, 78, and I was like, all right. And he goes, "Meow," stops and and it was windy. It was windy as hell. Like
Yeah.
it was super windy, and I was like kind of trying to wait for that wind to stop.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't. And I was like, if I don't fucking shoot, if I don't make a decision now, it's over. So I just was like,
Got to be a killer.
You have that killer instinct though, because you only had like a split second. Because when that deer stopped, he pegged us and like he was gonna blow.
Yeah, he was
And
out
you
of
know,
there.
like you knew I got to release right now.
That's
like, I gotta sit down.
becoming the killer.
Yeah.
Get good at feeding your family. Like
Yeah.
get good at putting meat
Yeah.
on the table,
Yeah.
and it'll continue to translate. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it does. I genuinely think it does.
and you're right, man. It only comes from practice. Like, and you can't just practice on the range. Like,
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys love range practicing, but like, you can't. How do you practice fucking going into full draw in a creek and then stepping up out of that creek, and then there's a fence in front of you, and then there's wind, and it's all this other shit going on, and you got to make that decision now.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why you just have to do it. You
Got to
go out
put
there
your
and
body in high stress situations
Yep.
multiple times in your life to realize how to conquer that.
Yeah.
You have to figure that out.
Trail, when you talk about dumbing it down by doing it that much, you don't complicate it by getting that deep into it?
No. I mean, when I go to the range, I just want to reinforce. I typically take it from a very like strategic. So I'm going to work on one thing. If I go to the range in the morning, like that day, I'm going to shoot 100 arrows, and I'm going to shoot perfect follow through on every one of those arrows.
And that's all you're focused on
That's
is
all I'm
just
thinking
follow
of.
through.
The only thing I'm thinking about is follow through that day. The next day, I might just think about anchor point. You know, I might think about timing. I want to make sure that I release an arrow within that 7 to 8 second window. You know, I pick one thing and I work on it. And like
You're
I
not
said,
paying attention to your arrow pattern, nothing?
you know, I'll track. I'll keep score a little bit sometimes, like as I get into the summer. But a lot of the times, I'm just working. I'm picking one thing. I want to do that thing perfectly on every arrow that day. And the next day I'll do another thing. And I just want to reinforce good habits and build out habit. Because like I said, when I get in that moment, like if I don't shoot my bow every day, like my anchor point will feel weird. Like third day, if I shoot on a Monday and then I don't shoot Tuesday and I get to like Thursday, Friday before I get a chance to shoot again, like my anchor point will feel a little bit weird. Like I've got,
Really?
I've got to
Wow.
shoot. Yeah,
Wow.
I've
That's
got to
interesting.
shoot.
I wish
every
I
day.
was-
that's crazy because I'm the opposite of that.
Yeah.
If I
Me
if
too.
I
I'll
shoot
start
every
finding
day,
different things.
if I shoot every day, I like when you talk about overthinking it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, maybe I could do this. I always try because I'm always trying to find something different. But like, keep
Yeah.
it simple, stupid, right? Like it's simple. I use a nose button for my anchor,
Sure.
so if I just know I'm putting that nose button right on my nose, and sometimes I lean into it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, wait, now I can keep my head back.
Yeah.
If I don't shoot for a couple days, I shoot better. the day that I do shoot. So if I shoot on Monday, I won't shoot Tuesday, Wednesday, and then on Thursday I'll go back out there and I'll be like, damn, I'm shooting better than I was on Monday.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
I wish I could do that though, but those details is what spins me out. Is I can't focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Like I'll start getting spun. You would have been a really good golfer, by the
can't-
way.
yeah,
he would
You
have been great at it.
amazing at golfing.
The
can't-
repetition
Yes.
is like
you
what
can't
kills me
care
in
so
golf.
much about the end result. You got to work on like the little things, and really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to a point where everything is just is dumbed down and automatic as it can be in the moment. Like when I reach full draw on a bull, I want to not have to think about anything but where I'm aiming.
I
And just
wish
have
I
everything
wish I
kind
could
of be
do that.
automatic.
Because I
and set.
enjoy shooting too, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Well,
therapeutic.
yeah.
I enjoy the shit out of it, so I try to enjoy it as much as I can while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And like, but then I have to rein myself back in and like not start developing bad habits and
Yeah.
trying to change things. Like maybe I could shoot a little better if I do this or that, or I start to tinker. I'm the same way as Derek, so like I'll get myself spun out if I shoot way too much.
Well, that's why I don't worry about like people are like, how much does your arrow weigh? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to pay. If I start paying attention to all that stuff, it's like, look, dude, I put a broadhead on there and I shoot him. If it shoots straight, then I'm using it.
Yeah.
Like that's all I care about, right? But
Yeah.
people are like, they get all geeked out on the numbers and what.
Well,
your
the funny
arrow
thing
weighs
about
and-
you is that like it would be applicable to no one. I
Right.
mean, your specs.
Are wild.
I mean, you're going to need a 150, 200 spine arrow. It's going to be
It's gotta be really stiff.
580, 600 grains. I mean, it's not going to apply to anybody. So
literally no one.
If you're wondering what arrow Derek shoots,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a curiosity, but it's not going to be applicable to you out there.
Right. Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah, not to
It's got to
anybody.
be. Well, I was shooting those rampages as black
Yeah.
eagles, and I was splintering on. Like I'd shoot a
I'm
target,
sure.
and they just were splintering, and I'm like,
It would have to be.
dude, I'm like
a
all my
super
arrows are
stiff arrow.
getting ruined, right? So I switched to those TKOs because it's the stainless.
Yeah.
It's the stainless steel, and
Yeah.
they infuse it with carbon, and I've no
The
issues
VAP
at
SS.
all. They fly way better. I also, I don't want to shit on another company, but I was shooting a Matthews Atlas, and I felt like if I shot that thing like 6 or 7 times, that 8th or 9th shot would be different. It was like, what is going on here? So I switched to the Hoyt Highline, and it is the most consistent shooting bow that I've ever had.
If you're the big
'Cause
giant,
there's really only 2 bows I can shoot, which is
Yeah, I mean you're in a league that like it's not applicable to
That's what I'm saying.
anyone.
Don't-
Literally, I mean your boots is also a really good example. We can talk boots all day long, but like,
Yeah.
what do you tell Derek?
Can't-
Well,
can't
everybody's
attract-
like, oh, try this one. I'm like, well, they only go
Buy
to
a
a 14.
Kennetrick.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
well, I guess you're kind of screwed, right? And I wear the Kennetrick Mountain Extremes, and they're great for everything, but they were not great in the snow that day.
No, they're not. They're not
They're
the best
slick.
in snow.
They were
They're real
slick.
slick in snow.
But they were great in that New Mexico elk hunt was perfect. Dry, dry, crunchy rocks, and then up even into wet, like a little bit. It was a little bit more wet in the area where I actually shot my elk. It was all right in there, but the snow, man, it was snowy rocks, slippery rocks. It was not good.
Yeah.
Are you
Really
a-
struggled.
This is like a little off topic going back, but I'm curious. I wanted to ask: are you a visualizer? Like, are you big into visualization?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is that something that like athletic, because you came up through college, pros?
I mean,
is
dude,
it
it
something?
started. I used to like. I don't know if anybody's you guys ever get in fights in school? Like, hey, we're fighting tomorrow.
A long time ago.
3 o'clock.
It's been a
high.
while.
Like even then, I would visualize, like, okay, I'm fighting this kid tomorrow. I would visualize how that fight was going to go, and that's like Mike Tyson said it best, right? Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like I do that same thing with hunts, right? And I did the same thing when I played. But guess what? As soon as you go out there, it's like that whole plan it goes to shit that I had visualized all night long and dreamed about all night long. It goes to shit once the fight starts, and it's all muscle memory from there. And it's like that with hunts, right? It's like, all right, I'm gonna say the plan rarely goes how you set it up.
Well, you
right?
have a dance partner and an animal that has to do exactly what, so you're constantly
And it's a
changing-
wild animal.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you're changing leads all the time. So
Yeah.
you may have a plan, you might have visualized the whole thing going
But
down.
the wind had a different idea. The
Yeah.
wind's gonna swirl
You know,
at that one last second when it's like, well, fuck, like it just it ruined everything.
Yeah.
But that's I do. I visualize everything I do. I do that. Can I talk about microdosing?
Yeah.
You talk about
Well,
whatever you want.
Anything you want.
I microdose mushrooms because I think that it just helps me unlock like a different thought process. Really, it helps me see things a little more clear. Like I said, I have ADHD bad, so it helps me like because when you have ADHD, your brain waves are like up and down, up and down, up and down, and you can't like locking in on one thing is just, especially if you don't like to do it. If it's something you don't like doing, it's impossible. can't lock in on it. So the mushrooms really help me do that. And it also helps me like plan ahead so I can think about the bigger picture, that there's a bigger vision here, right? It's not like I'm not just staying in. I like to stay in the moment, but I also like to be able to plan for, 5 years down the road, a year down the road. And when you're hunting, it's like, okay, I'm planning for, 2 miles up the road. Like, what are my thermals going to look like in 2 hours, right? And I think a lot of people make that mistake with the wind. They're like, the wind's coming this way right now, so 2 hours from now, it's probably going to be doing the same thing. No, bud, the sun's going to keep coming up, and it's going to drop your thermals. So you're going to have to change your strategy and stay on, or people don't think about which side of the hill, was like north-facing slopes. That's where you're going to find these elk when it's hot.
Yep.
They're going to be on north-facing slopes, right? Not going to be sitting on the south side where it's nice, where it's all warm. They're going to
Where we want them to be.
Yeah,
where you want exactly where it's open and we can actually see.
Yeah, they're going to be sitting on that steep, dark, heavy forested, big timber, miserable terrain, and that's the middle of the day. That's where they're going to be. So if that's where if that's your opportunity, you got to take it, right? Because I can't sit water. I got nothing wrong. A lot of people kill giant elk doing that, but I get
Brady
super bored doing that.
Brady killed a giant coos deer off of water.
Off of water.
Yeah.
I feel like Brady's got a patience that most people don't.
Brady has
Stuff I've seen
Growing up
you
in the
do.
Midwest, maybe sitting in some stands when I was younger.
Brady has
Well,
a level of dedication that is unrivaled, like in a lot of different settings.
Patience can be such a virtue, during the hunt. If you can control your patience and your energy in certain moments, like, because I've killed a lot of animals off of water as well, but you got to be patient because it's boring.
You have to stay
slow.
focused for so long. That's the hardest part.
Clay-
you never know when it's going to happen, but it could happen. You have to be ready.
Yeah.
If you're not
Clay,
ready,
Clay and I went to Kansas one time.
Imagine that.
We went to Kansas.
Really cold in December.
So, like I said, him and I, we're always looking for a reason to hang out.
Yeah.
But, it's few and far between to find those reasons.
Right.
I mean, it took him starting another business to come see me in Las Vegas. Imagine that. I'm supposedly his best friend, but, it took Apex
laying
to
it
bring
on
him
pretty
down
good,
here.
bud.
Yeah. I'd never let him live this down. I'm always out in Colorado, always stopping by, but I am hunting. So anyways,
working,
so yeah, right. So him and I planned to hunt in Kansas because it was December.
Right.
It was post all his stuff. I found a little opening in my schedule. I'm like, yeah, let's go do this, right? So we found a place in Kansas, went out there together. We're in hunting camp finally. That was our first time, like, both being in a hunting camp, right?
Yeah.
With tags. And we was sitting tree stands, right? It was the total, whitetail setup. Sit tree stands, wait for them, sitting over big open plots, sitting over, pinch points, all this stuff. Was it the first day?
First day.
Was that the first day?
So you're talking about what I think you're talking about.
Yeah. So the first.
Well, what's the other thing you could be thinking about?
I'll let you take it because you're the
No,
one that
I'm just. Are
screwed
you
me
going
over.
with the cold or
Yeah, well, that and us just leaving.
the actual leaving the whole hunt?
No.
Or that morning.
That morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I was already out of the tree when he was texting me. I was like back at the pickup, sitting in it.
No, so we're out there. It was my first true tree stand experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we're out there hunting. It is cold. I mean, beyond cold. So there's the humid cold, right? And then there's the cold that we deal with
Midwest cold.
third, fourth
That's
season.
that's a whole different level,
Midwest,
That wet
humid,
cold is different.
Oh,
wet,
that's a different
cold.
deal.
That Kansas,
So-
Nebraska cold is something
And
else.
our
Right to
our
the bones.
layering gear doesn't work. You know what I mean? We learned very quickly it doesn't work, or at least I did. Shit, being born and raised in Las Vegas, I don't deal with cold ultra well,
Yeah.
especially the wet cold. So we're out there getting the tree stands. Sun's coming up. You got to get in the tree stand unbelievably early. Get the scent out of there, all that stuff, right? So we're listening to these whitetail guys. We're like, cool. Let's we'll do what you guys are saying. And so we're up there hour before daylight breaks.
And hold on,
like-
I'm gonna stop you because right when the sun
that's the
comes
coldest
up,
point
that's
of the
when it's
day.
the coldest.
Coldest point of the day.
So cold.
And so 30
Miserable.
minutes into the hunt, I text Clay. I'm like, bro, I am freezing my absolute nuts off right now.
I'm
there's
playing it off
no
like
way.
I'm hard ass.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, dude, just tough it out.
I'm like, there's no way I can shoot right now. There's no way. And I'm texting
You're
him. I'm
shivering.
Like, yeah, I'm in my hands, everything.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of locked up. I'm so frozen. I mean, granted, once the adrenaline dumps, things change, right? I might have been able to shoot, but I was kind of freaking myself out. Like if a buck walks through here right now, there's no chance.
Yeah.
So I'm texting him. I'm like, are you as cold as I am? Just trying to validate if I'm, being a bitch or not. I'm like, are you cold? He's like, no, man, just tough it out. Just tough it out. Like there are a lot of deer in the area. Like we've seen them, I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I'm sitting in this tree stand for as long as I possibly can. And like we're, talking to the guys who are kind of training us up on whitetail.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man, you need to sit for as long as you possibly can. Just like time in the stand. It's like fishing, right? Just time in the water. It's like that's how you catch fish, right?
Yeah.
Tree stand hunting apparently is the same way.
Yep.
And so I'm just trying to put time in the stand. It gets to like 10 a.m. And I text him again. I'm like, bro, I'm done. I can't do this. Like, there's no way I can shoot. I am so goddamn cold right now. I can't do this. It's like, yeah, but I've been back at the truck for like 3 hours now. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah.
Counting some Carhartts.
He's like, you guys ever seen Ricky Bobby?
Yeah.
When he was talking about therapy, he's like, oh, I gave that shit up yesterday. 1 hour in, I gave it up. That was literally Clay. He's texting me. He's like, yeah, 30 minutes in, I got out of the stand.
I just really wanted to see you get a deer. So
And that's what he tried to tell me. He's like, well, I wanted you to get a deer, so I was telling you to tough it out. I'm like, you mother. You left me in the tree for 4 hours longer than you when I told you I was cold, and you're telling me to tough it out. He's from Colorado at 10,000 feet.
Dude, that's a different cold.
It was
Oh,
a
it's
different
way
cold.
different, yeah.
So we went straight to the nearest hardware store and bought Carhartt
You
coveralls.
didn't even move when we're in the
Like,
tree again.
literally
you're the
looked like-
Carhartt
Yeah.
man. You're like the Michelin dude
Marshmallows
up
up there. But like absolutely frozen up there trying to do that stand hunt. I couldn't do it.
It's not fun.
I use a tree
didn't-
saddle.
I didn't enjoy that.
That's how I hunt whitetails, from a tree saddle.
That would be fun. Warm, I could do that. It would be fun to kind of have the freedom to like kind of stalk a little bit, get
A lot more mobility.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
and like stalk
it
a
only
little bit
takes
too.
10 minutes to pull it, and
Well,
it's not like a
too,
lock on where you have
like
to.
everything I've ever watched with saddle hunting, which is super interesting to me, which I really want to try it. It's like you scout them and stalk them quite a bit until that last 25%, and that's when you go up in a tree.
Yep.
So you're still kind of like doing that spot and stalk, breaking up the monotony of just sitting.
Yeah.
And then when you're going up in a tree saddle, like you're in a spot, you're in the spot.
Yeah.
It's like that last 25% that needs to work out. I like that.
Well, I also like it because being a big dude, sitting in a fucking lock on, you stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Or a climber, big heavy ass climber, the big Goliath, summit Goliath climber, you're clunking up the tree, right? I could be nice and quiet, really nice and quiet with my setup. I use a trophy line setup, and it's just like, dude, it's perfect. Like
You have that.
I
you
can use
have a
the tree to
place.
hide me.
You have a place, don't you? Didn't you buy?
I sold it though because
You did?
I didn't have access from the backside of the property. I bought it expecting my neighbors to be friendly and let me like access my property from the backside, and they wouldn't.
Hey man, I'm Derek Wolfe. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Dude, she slammed the door in my face.
Oh gosh.
Not a Broncos fan, huh?
No, she didn't give a shit who I was. She's like, my kids hunt here. No hunting. And I was like, well, lady,
Where was it?
slam.
It was Ohio?
Yeah.
Ohio.
Ohio.
'Cause I remember you texted me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's great turkey hunting, and we had like big 160, 170 inch whitetail running around, but it's like they lay on the property was like this, and there's a creek that runs through here, and I had a big food plot up here, and then the house is here. So to get those deer all bed on this hillside and just come over to the food plot, get some water, come up and eat, hit some water, and go back to bed.
Yeah.
And then there's a cornfield in that other property, so they have food and water going between. But to get back in there, if I can't access it from the backside, the deer see me coming. They just watch you. I'd have my trail camera set up. I'd walk in, get in a tree, sit for 4 or 5 hours, leave, and 20 minutes later, here you come. Mm-hmm. So he would just watch me. So and that's the other thing. Don't get patterned by the deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That happens a lot
They
with
got,
bears.
they got one job: stay alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's their job,
Yeah.
and they know how to do it.
Yeah, they're smart, man. These bucks are these big old. Once a buck gets past 3 years old, they start getting real wise.
Yeah.
They're really smart. And
You've tree stand hunted with Matthews, didn't you?
Yeah, went to Wisconsin. Yeah, I set 3 days, dark to dark.
Dark to dark.
I
Was
did
it
that
cold?
in Kansas this year for
It
7
was
days
very-
straight.
It was very cold. Yeah, Wisconsin, first
So
week of
you're
November.
tougher than
Oh
me.
wow.
I mean, I wanted to kill one.
You're a lot. Well, shit, I wanted to kill one too. You're just a lot tougher than me.
I mean, I did talk to those guys before I went back out, so I was pretty well loaded up on all the warm gear that I had. I mean, I was complete down. I mean, I had every warm piece of equipment I had. So
I wish my professional hunting best friend would have filled me in a little bit.
I had no idea.
Dude, I
me
got
off.
my ass kicked in Kansas this year, and it was the second week of November, and the weather was kind of warm, so it was like it'd be freezing ass cold in the morning, so it'd be dark and you'd hear the deer all moving around you, and then once the sun came up, it'd be like 60 degrees. You know, they're not moving in that. It needs to be like 30 degrees for those deer to move.
Yeah.
And they just weren't moving 7 days straight, dude. And it was hell. I saw some giant bucks, but it was, you know, nothing. I got skirted twice by this 180-inch buck. Moved on him because I was trying to catch him in this pinch point. I caught him coming to the field, but he just skirted me like something wasn't right. You know, he just didn't like it. He's smart, you know.
Yeah.
He skirted me twice, so 2 days wasted there.
They got that little ozone layer where they get close enough, they start feeling pressure.
They have a buffer.
Interesting.
They have like 100-yard. It's like a 100-yard buffer to me. He was only 30 yards from me. He just stayed in the brush. It's like I think he belly crawled through this brush. Like I was like, how the fuck did he get through that shit? Like he had to belly crawl through that. You know, and those whitetail, they'll belly crawl through. We're in Ohio where I grew up. It's all deep hollows. It's all Appalachian country, so it's like these deep hollows, and it's filled with just briars. And these bucks will just move through it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like they'll just get down and they'll crawl on their bellies.
Crazy,
through it.
man.
Animals are incredible.
They really
They
are.
are.
Well, you and I,
So
Trail and I
cool.
have talked a bunch about like, man, the ultimate life would be to somehow pick up a whitetail piece of property that you could like manage and run, you know, like,
Yeah.
man, that would be fun.
Yeah, I'll
truly
probably
do it.
never retire, but if I did, that would be it.
Yeah.
Man, to go out and just really work a piece of property.
Yeah.
You know, grow deer, watch deer.
In like Iowa,
Yeah,
somewhere in Iowa.
Kansas. I think
it'd
that
be
would be the
amazing.
most incredible way to retire.
Yeah,
You know,
well, that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to find a piece. I'm trying to find a piece in Oklahoma because you get 2 bucks in Oklahoma. There's spots where you could kill, you know, big 170, 180-inch bucks and kill black bear and hogs. So like, I'm trying to find a piece over there, but it's like, man, finding any kind of land that's worth anything now is just,
It's crazy.
it's impossible. Everybody's got it bought up already. China's coming in buying it all up too. So
Hopefully they just don't get into hunting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
No, man, that would be fun to manage.
But I tried it. I tried it in Ohio. I had 80 acres of prime whitetail country. I mean, it's perfect. Turkey and whitetail just loaded. I had a great food plot, but like I said, if you don't have the access
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
gotta
to
have
the
everything.
backside, you have to have everything.
literally
You
got to have everything. Man, it'd be fun though to Western hunt all through the early season, high country, all that stuff, and then come October start transitioning into.
Midwest.
Yeah,
Oh,
at
it'd
the
be
end of
awesome.
October when they start chasing does around, start searching. That's when you can catch those big ones. Halloween night is usually like
Yep.
Yes, everyone talks about Halloween.
Things get spooky.
Things
after
my
Halloween.
cameras on Halloween night would just be blowing up, and I could never go because I'm with the kids on Halloween.
Yeah.
So it was like fuck.
Can you get away Halloween?
No.
I have it with my wife. Like Thanksgiving, Christmas, I'll never like. It's just a known thing that I'll never hunt.
Yeah,
for
me
that.
too. No, Thanksgiving is a great day for hunting too because they're at peak rut.
And this year I'm gonna try to do
Good
the
luck.
Halloween thing. I'm gonna
I've
try
hunted
it.
Thanksgiving.
You've never
You're
done
not
the
going to want to
Halloween
miss,
thing?
dude.
I've never hunted
You're
Halloween.
not going to want to miss the Halloween with the kid though. Like
Of course not. But I
that's
mean,
why it's like you only get
I
those
mean, I
deer
guess I
ain't
gotta
going
pay
anywhere,
attention to
man.
your
Like
coach.
You
Don't
can't be gone
sacrifice now what you
Thanksgiving,
want
though.
later.
don't
Like
don't-
you guys' Thanksgiving. You,
I can't.
there's no way.
I would be divorced if I missed a Thanksgiving. Or
Oh, me
Christmas.
too.
I'd be 100%
Me too.
divorced.
Me too.
I'm gonna try to get. I don't want to be away for Halloween. I don't want to be, but like
also
hunting,
really
there are
wanna
certain
kill big deer.
opportunities. Yeah, there's certain opportunities with hunting that on set dates. It's just the way it is.
Well, and then you got to like the moon. It's the moon.
Yeah.
It's not the actual day. It's the moon.
Yeah.
With whitetail, I've found that like the moon. I just follow the moon phase, man. Because if it's a full moon, they're gonna be up all night.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna sleep all day.
Yeah.
But if you can catch them on that red moon, I use a moon tracker, red moon, and check the pressure, and if that pressure drops,
Yeah.
and it's the perfect timing, those big ones will be up moving in the day,
Yeah.
especially in November.
We're
But
a big whitetail podcast. How about that? We're a big whitetail
Well, dude,
podcast. Didn't
whitetail-
see that coming.
If you grew up in the
Literally, most
Midwest,
of us
man,
know
the
nothing
big,
about
Nothing about
The
it.
moon tracker
Five or
you're
six.
talking about?
I've hunted them.
Everyone has
I've hunted
that.
them
Oh, yeah.
one
Running around,
time.
You know exactly. what's
everybody
gonna
knows
happen.
what the moon's doing. Everybody knows, like these old timers. Like people talk about all this camo and all this and that, but dude, these old timers where I grew up, they wore fucking Wranglers and red flannels and
We
smoked
talked about that
Marlboro
all the time.
Reds.
Yeah.
They
You
smoked
go-
Marlboros and cracked freaking bush lights out in the woods.
Bush
and,
lights.
and all they
Now we're
they would
talking.
keep a feather. They would keep a feather on a string outside their bedroom window, and they'd wake up at 4 a.m. and look and see what way that wind was blowing. If it wasn't blowing the right way, they'd go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And they'd wake up, and if it was blowing the right way, they'd wake up and they'd go out and they'd kill a giant.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, you go back into the archives of Western hunting. It's all Wrangler jeans and flannels, international scouts driving roads. Like, I mean, they killed absolute giants.
And
doing
that's really not that long ago, because just in my own,
Yeah.
hunting career, go back to, some of the pictures of
your
my big
72
bucks.
years of hunting.
My
career?
72 years of hunting. Every time Lorenzo and I talk, I get a little bit older. But no, I go back and like into the late 90s, I was still hunting with, just a pair of Danner boots and Danner pronghorn boots, Wrangler jeans, and a flannel. And, that's what we went out and we hunted in. And really about the first of this, what do we call it? New century, I guess, or whatever, we started getting into all this technical stuff, and the hunting industry's evolved quite a bit. But the same hunting skills and capabilities were the same in the 90s, 70s, and 80s, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And now we have all this incredible gear. Like, look in here. Look at the boots, man. That boot rack right over there. I think
Yeah.
about that, and I'm like, oh my God, that's like I can't say this on. That's a dream.
Yeah.
A certain kind of a dream. Like I love boots. I'm a boot, fan.
You and Trail would get along well.
Oh, dude, I
There's
love
only one
boots.
boot over there I can wear.
I love boots, but I mean, we didn't have that. We had
Yeah.
like Irish setters and Danners and like, old boots and Rocky boots and stuff. I mean, it's come a long, long ways, and it's cool to see where it's going. As long as we never lose that heritage piece, you know what I mean? That always keeps us grounded and back to the good old days.
And now you got good supplements too.
That's what I was gonna say. Good,
Yeah.
good transition
Yep.
to talk about your
Yeah,
supplement.
instead of
Well,
Marlboros and Bush Light, you get
Yeah, instead of tobacco
Do you have
and
a
Bush
Marlboro
Light, we actually
flavor?
have some real stuff.
We don't have that. We don't have that yet.
I was going to start digging in on your past too, because you have a pretty interesting past as well, just with what you did.
Scientist.
No, I'm not a
The
scientist.
distinguished scientist. This is why I like to make him sound older.
He's a
than
man
he
of
really
all
is.
trades.
He really is.
Distinguished gentleman.
You know this guy. This guy does business deals in fluent Spanish, no problem.
Sí.
It's incredible.
Bueno, yo puedo hablar español si quieres, entonces vámonos,
Where'd
güey.
you learn to speak Spanish?
I lived in Spain for a few years, but growing up it started when I was a kid.
Did you ever kill ibex when you lived over there?
No, no, I
Just
was
straight
over
work?
there. Yeah, just straight work stuff. And so, but no, it started when I was a little kid. I grew up in southern Idaho, out in the ag country. And so most of my friends in Marcy, Nampa, and Caldwell area in Idaho, they were,
Spanish.
well, they were, migrant kids, and so I started learning a little bit there, and then I studied all through high school and had an opportunity to go and live in Spain for a couple of years, and I took that opportunity and took it serious. I was with a lot of other Americans while I was there, and it's kind of a sad thing when I look back on it that I took it really serious and tried to learn the culture and the language and speak with them in their native tongue. And that was in the late 90s, mid 90s. And ever since I came home, I made a commitment to myself. I wasn't going to lose it. And so throughout my career professionally, I've had the opportunity to not live full time, but spend better part of a year or two in 3 in Mexico, Ecuador, Costa Rica, working and helping companies develop their markets down there. And so it's been a real blessing.
Yeah.
I actually love it too. I love going to Mexico and hunting with these guys, and I'll just sit there and like,
It's the best.
Yeah,
That's what I was talking to about with you guys. If you go down to Mexico with somebody who's fluent, they appreciate it.
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome. They
I've got
appreciate
buddies
it down
that speak Spanish. Same thing. I mean, you're out on the mountain, you run into a sheep herder. Most
Yep.
of those guys are Spanish speaking. And you roll up to them, and if you could speak to them in Spanish, they'll relay all kinds of information to you.
Tons.
Every big buck, every big bull. I mean, they've spent the entire summer out there.
Yep.
They know the landscape as well as anybody. They're a wealth of information, but again, you got to have the ability to connect with them.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
speak in
absolutely.
Spanish. That's
Get
great.
in, your background though. Get into what you did, because I know it, but they don't know it.
yeah.
And I want other people to know it.
No, after coming home from Spain, I finished school in the University
Wait,
of
hold
Utah.
on. Before, can we take a piss break?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to
Thank God.
interrupt
Thanks
you.
for
No,
saying
no,
it.
you're good.
I gotta
You're good.
piss back.
If we
I'm
can't,
gonna
I'm
go
gonna
All
go
right,
where
we'll be
I
back.
need
We'll
to.
be back in just a second.
Yeah,
All these
thank
guys got pregnant bladders. All right, so we're back from the pee break, and you were getting into your history.
Oh yeah. Where were we at? Were we talking about?
We determined that you spoke Spanish.
See.
Very, very well.
Played, well played.
Yeah, no, I do speak Spanish and I enjoy it. In fact, like we were talking about being able to speak Spanish out here in the West, there's a lot of sheep herders and stuff. It's been a blessing to be able to, communicate with those guys. They spend more time on the mountain than anybody can. So, yeah, they've helped me kill a lot of elk.
How'd you get into this?
Yeah, what is your history in?
So it's kind of crazy, man. Like when I was a kid, oh, thank you. I never in a million years would have thought that this is what I was going to do for a living, work in what we call the nutraceutical industry. Never thought that that's where I'd be. I moved to Utah. I went finished my undergrad degree at the University of Utah. And kind of a joke inside of the state is that, the Wasatch Front's considered Vita Valley as a percentage, a large piece of the state's GDP is derived from manufacturing and product development. And just so happened my first job right out of college was with a large organization in the industry. And I had an opportunity to start, kind of growing and learning. And I was always on like the back end side at the beginning. And so I was doing like systems and administration and, it was like right at the beginning. This is how old I am, Lorenzo. We can bring this up again.
Exactly.
But this was before web e-commerce was even really a thing. And so that was actually my responsibility for the company that I worked for at that time, was to help roll out an e-commerce platform. But anyways, my interest in it continued to grow, and I had an opportunity in 2003, 2004 to go to a little tiny essential oil company of all things. And I know I'm on a man cast here, and we're talking about cool things like hunting, and I've got a Super Bowl champ sitting right next to me, and I'm the essential oil guy. I mean, that's he's really tough, guys. Yeah, so we were doing essential oils,
You're
and
talking about your nightly skin routine.
yeah, I had a great. I mean, as you can tell, I'm 72
Glowing.
years old. I'm still glowing. I might be a little gray.
No
but,
crow's feet whatsoever.
No. And so I did that for 9 years, and during the course of that time, I did everything inside the company, and I learned an awful lot. It was really a great blessing. I was a young kid, and looking back at some of the stuff that I was able to do, like crazy adventures. Spent weeks in the Amazon living with natives, looking for botanicals. I mean, where else can you do this kind of
Really
stuff?
wild.
I mean, oh yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely, crazy adventures, and and I got to do those kind of things with the owner of the company. But at the same time, he empowered me to, lead and run the organization as a whole. And during the time that I was there, we took the company from, a few $1 million a year in sales to when I left, we were at $500 million in sales. And so, and it was an incredible experience, absolutely phenomenal. But the biggest takeaway that has stayed with me is my love and passion for natural wellness. And, I left there. I helped start another essential oil company that we merged with another large, company in the organization or in the industry. We did that for 7 years, and I had a lot of success with that. And that was spun off and sold in 2019, 2020. And since that time, I started taking all of my knowledge, my relationships, and helping to develop, products inside the industry for large companies. We have several SKUs with very large organizations inside of the nutraceutical industry. But one of the things, going back to the very beginning of the podcast, is that there was an interest from the time I met Clay, when we were just out hunting deer and hanging out in the hay meadow. Actually, after he left me, and I also have video of him, by the way, snoozing. He was sound asleep. My first guided hunt. My first
Your first
guided
guide
hunt.
hunt, your guide's fast asleep.
He leaves me for 3 hours, and and I don't know where he went, probably to take a nap. But then he came back and took a nap again. And I have video of me going, and here I am with the Clay Hill, and he's currently in hibernation mode. But anyways, going clear back to that time, he was started to ask me tons of questions about it. And one of the things I love about Clay, he's super inquisitive. He asks a million questions, and he might be one of the most well-connected people. As a guide outfitter, he's crossed paths with, some of the biggest swinging dicks, that the country has to offer, the industry has to offer. And because of that, and he is who he is, he has all these relationships that open up different doors and different things. And so the genesis of our Apex line of products really came from that conversation. And through that evolution, which is another reason why we call it Apex Next Evolution, is really because of the fact that we're always striving and we want to push ourselves. What's that next evolution? Because if you're not evolving, Derek, you said something earlier about complacency, right? It can become a disease. And so, if we can be putting good fuel into our body, and in the industry in general, there's like a good, better, best, kind of methodology to developing products. And unfortunately, there are compromises that have to be made. You're either a badass branding company and you skimp on the ingredient side or the product side, or you're a badass product company with not a lot on the marketing side. And so your traction and your placement in the industry, maybe either slow or non-existent, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm leading the witness essentially, if you will. But
please lead, lead.
So what's? I mean, I would assume that your emphasis. You're saying that you put a lot of time into development, R&D, and into ingredients, and looking at performance over marketing. Because I think we know.
Yeah.
There's a company in our space that's a marketing giant.
Yeah. There's
no punches. I mean, they are.
Yeah, no, they're good, and I know the industry well. I know these companies very well. In some instances, we've even done some product work for them. But at the end of the day, coming back to like good, better, best, and looking at what we wanted to accomplish. I have a full-time day job. Clay's got a day job. Our other partners.
Sleeping.
A lot of snoozing. A lot of snoozing
in his full-time day job.
Yeah. But we looked at this and said, hey, if we have purpose-driven products and we have a good, better, best mentality, but instead of looking at the lower end, looking at the higher end when we're talking about ingredients and formulas and products in general, that became our emphasis. And it just so happens that one of our other partners that couldn't be with us here today, he has an incredible organization. I'm very proud of the packaging and the marketing and the look that we have. And it's because he is a very talented and creative, I call him a marketing genius. He's helped build some very, very significant brands. And having all of us working together and being able to recognize what we bring. I know what I bring to the table. I know what Clay brings to the table. I know what our other partners bring to the table. And we can help roll this out. And then being with GOHUNT, for example, and having an opportunity on what I call a pinnacle platform. You guys are the premier platform in our industry now. That's a blessing, you know what I mean, to be able to help, get this word out and this message that, there are good, better, best, and this is a best, first in class, type of product that we're putting together. And so, Trail, if that answers your question.
Yeah. I think, did you?
Oh, go for it first.
No, you're going to have a question. I know. And if I steer it down the road, we're going to go off and completely
Well,
different direction.
I'm just really want to know what it takes to, like you said, develop the best. What's the research, like the strategy behind it? Like, how do you go about this process? I'm sure it's a lengthy process, and there's obviously some secrets through there too, probably. But like, it seems mind-boggling to me. Like, okay, let's take a product, let's make it so you can perform your best, whether in your field, whether you're training, like what it might be. Like, what's that process look like?
Well, it starts with this, honestly. I mean, it's just sitting around having a conversation.
Figuring out some needs. And
then, for example, we were having a conversation yesterday and we were talking about clean, healthy foods, right? And we call them in the industry a functional food. And so how can we go and look at natural ingredients? How can we go and find, functional ingredients that will help to apply towards a specific purpose? And that's where it really starts. And then from there, what we do is we take it into the R&D lab, right? And we start to look at various ingredients that will be in that space. So for example, in the energy drink, you have your various stimulants that you can look at. You have other ingredients that can add as a cofactor, as we call it, that will help to support or uplift, maintain, whatever. And so we start looking at all of those pieces, and then we start to formulate. And then that is a lengthy process, like I've given Clay and some of our other partners.
It's been a guinea pig?
Oh, Clay's
Yeah.
been like our number one product tester.
No more napping.
Yeah.
You're awake all the time.
The Conquer's got me going.
Coffee.
So, and then we go through that process. And so to get to where we have these products right here, this has been about 2 years worth of product development. I think on Conquer alone, we had 7, 8 iterations of the product before we nailed a formulation that worked. And then on top of that, you have the flavoring, because if you don't nail a flavor and you don't have a good mouthfeel, taste and texture, consumers will go, I'll try it once, but I'm not buying it.
I've noticed it's really like smooth. It's like, I don't know how to describe it other than like, it's a smooth texture in my, like it's refreshing smooth.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of like Sam Elliott's voice when he does the,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's
You're
that
like,
kind of
"Ooh, that's
smooth.
good
That's just
noise,
good, right?
Yeah, well put.
So and I appreciate that the kind of feedback and the reception that we're hearing from a lot of people inside the industry as well as outside. That's one thing we want to be very careful to make sure that we don't pigeonhole ourselves just to the hunting industry, because as much as we have a passion and we love this industry, this is really for outdoor enthusiasts, people that, whether it's backpacking, whether it's biking, whether it's
lifestyle,
Western
everything.
lifestyle. That's who we want to attract, and it just so happens the Clay and Chad and myself and Lorenzo, you guys now, we all share a common love of the outdoors and wildlife, and it's just a natural way to get it into the home.
Yeah. What? So Conquer would be what in your mind? What niche does that? What? Sorry, I'm trying to lean into the mic.
no, do it. Getting close to
Well,
that.
I thought you were going to give him a smooth.
I was going to give him a kiss. I could tell I was getting inside his personal space.
Yeah,
is what
he's
I
happened. I
talked
was
earlier
like,
about me being cold.
wait,
These really wants to make me warm.
wait a damn minute. I'm getting a little too close. What niche would you say? Like, so you've got 3 products, right? So just maybe work me through the 3 different products that you have and what niche they fill.
So one of the big things is starting with Conquer, which is our energy drink, and we refer to it as an energy drink. We're not trying to compete in the gym space. There are a gazillion different supplements that you can go and get as a pre-workout. And I have a lot of opinions, that I can share on a lot of that stuff that you see out there. But there's a lot that you can go and get. And then on the flip side of that, you also have a myriad of different energy drinks that you can go and get, and we all know the big name brands or whatever, we see them at the gas station or in the beverage.
Everywhere.
They're everywhere, right? And they're all serve a purpose, but you'll get a spike and crash with those. And so what we wanted to provide was an alternative. So if you don't want to get, the niacin burn or the beta alanine flush, and before you go to the gym, and you get this, and
Oh, yeah.
start,
I've been there.
and you get the itchy, you need
Yeah.
sandpaper, and you're doing that, and you feel like you're about ready to claw the wall off. And then on the flip side, whether it's the middle of the day like we are right now, and we're having this conversation, having a nice, refreshing pick-me-up, but you're also hydrating at the same time. And so it's kind of a dual-purpose type of product. I've been using it now for, almost 18 months as my pre-workout. It serves me fine for what I like. I don't need that, raw, in the gym. I like that little wake me up. And then as far as the functional aspects, something that differentiates us, I don't know if you guys can see on here, but this is tiger's blood, right? That's the name of this. But look at the color.
Yeah.
There's no artificial colors or
That's
anything.
what I've appreciated too.
You know.
By noticing it's like doesn't seem fake. There's no fillers in there.
No.
No color things.
It's just a
like
very
it works.
clean. Yeah, it's just a very clean product. And then each one of our products has a what we like to refer to as a hero ingredient, something that really differentiates us from anybody else. And so when you look at Conquer, for example, we use a green tea coffee or a stimulant, so our green tea extract, is our stimulant. It has 120 milligrams, which is not a lot in the energy space. That's very mild.
Caffeine?
Of caffeine,
Gotcha.
yeah. But then the hero ingredient is something that actually triggers your body's ability to create its own energy at a cellular level, with the mitochondria and the ATP process, if you're familiar with your old biology.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I dabbled in all that.
But-
But I took some of those courses twice. I recall in college. So.
But anyways, that differentiates us. And so instead of taking a quick shot of something, or maybe pounding a 16-ounce, carbonated beverage or whatever that takes you here, and you get that mental jitters, you get the physical jitters or whatever, but then you also,
take a digger off the cliff, if you will. This like just gets you up there, gives you a little bump, and then you just kind of cruise. You know what I mean?
It.
You ride it, So that's Conquer. And we have 2 flavors, Tiger's Blood, which is, Derek, he just stepped out, but that was the first one that he tried when we were on that elk hunt.
You had him at Tiger's Blood.
I had him at Tiger's Blood.
Just the name itself makes me want to drink it as well. So.
Tiger's Blood, love
What
it.
is that? Like pina colada, strawberry, something?
Yeah, it's a strawberry coconut.
There you go.
And if you remember when we were kids, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember.
The snow cone,
Yep.
Tiger Blood. That's
sure.
kind of where it came from.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's
then-
you've got a recovery one as well?
Yeah, let's talk about Quench Roll. We'll just go kind
Okay,
of sequentially. And so Quench is our hydration drink, and it's I'm very proud of this. Hydration is a huge issue. Most Americans are not getting enough water every day.
Trail and I.
And just regular water in and of itself does not rehydrate the body. You need to be getting your electrolytes, into the system as quickly as possible and doing it on a regular basis. And so one of the things that we did, you're going to get a full, all your electrolytes, the sodium that you need to be able to rehydrate. But the cool part about it is the hero ingredient that we have is a vasodilator. And to my knowledge, and I want to say this to my knowledge, it's the only hydration drink that actually has a vasodilator as a kicker. And so, excuse me, you get a kind of a dual purpose. You get a little bump and a pick-me-up of energy because when you vasodilate, you're moving oxygen. Oxygen to the brain helps, you feel awake and with mental clarity and whatnot. And so having that is a huge boost. Plus, hydrating and getting all of the electrolytes, and replenishing the cells, you have that happening at the same time. And so once again, flavored. I don't have one open right now, but it's clear. There's no artificial garbage in there. So,
Gotcha. It's good. That's the one thing. I mean, I think I've tried all of them now at this point, and every one that I've tried so far I've liked.
Yep.
There hasn't been any of them that I've been like, that one's not for me.
Yeah.
Like they've all been really good. So you put all of them in an individual packet. Are you also doing tubs or just packets right now?
no, just packets right now. We want to be portable and we want to be functional. And so one of the things that when you have your drink in a powder and in a tub, a couple of things that happen over a period of time. Every time you open that lid, oxygen gets in there, and so you start the oxidation process, which starts degrading, the active ingredients that are in there. And so it's no different than when you slice an apple open and you leave it starts to brown.
Yep.
The same thing's happening with the product. And so that's one. And then 2, you get multiple hands that start going in there. It becomes potentially a cesspool of microorganisms, right? So we're trying to keep that clean.
Makes sense.
And then the portability of it. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm on a hunt or I'm on a hike or out doing ranch work or whatever I'm doing outdoors, it's not real convenient to have my. So then what are your alternatives? You're looking at either those smaller little, hour drinks or whatever, or something to give you that bump. And so we want to make sure that it's super easy for people to use.
And whenever you take a tub in the field, like having the truck or whatever, you open that thing up, it's windy. Like
Yeah.
that stuff's going everywhere.
Yeah,
You
You
just
need
make
the
a mess.
funnel. You got to make the paper funnel.
Yeah,
whatever
where
you
this
need.
is like you just dump it in a small little bottle. It like goes
Yeah.
right in. You can stick it down in it first and
Yeah.
then tip it over, so you get in everything. So you're not wasting
Yeah.
that stuff you bought.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you're spending money on it and it's going into the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're great. You just throw them like on a hunt. I can see myself. I have typically just bought the individual packets from other companies and thrown them, 1 or 2 a day, depending on what I've got going on. But yeah, they make total sense. You just grab them, throw them in your daily kit, and you're gone.
And one of the things, with that being said, Trail, is that we also want to make sure that, hey, this is not just a post-workout or exercise. Going back to what I was saying a second ago, the average American is underhydrated, and so if we can give, and you start talking to people and you do surveys, and why don't you drink enough water? Well, I don't like water. So what are they drinking? Diet Coke?
Yeah, they're drinking other
Diet
things to
Pepsi,
kind of
prefer-
hyper hydration
preferably.
in a way.
So you start looking at all the things. They want something flavored.
Yep.
So if we can give you something that is good and beneficial, while at the same time, that's enjoyable to drink, we can get people hydrating.
Yeah.
And I could go into all the health benefits of just staying hydrated in and of itself, but But yeah, I want to make sure that this
Off the
isn't
top
just
of your head,
post.
what are they? Just curious. Give me two.
Give you two.
Yeah,
So-
benefits of staying hydrated. Because I would. We had this big New Year's resolution podcast. We all talked about New Year's resolution. I'm terrible about drinking water, right? So Porter was like, okay, gallon of water a day, which I've been doing. I did it for 30 days.
Yeah.
And I've been kind of hit or miss since. But he was asking me, do you feel better? Do you feel different? To be honest, I don't know that I do or I don't. But
Yeah.
so just give me the big
Yeah.
hitters. What are the biggest
So
benefits?
first and foremost is your skin, right? If you ever notice that when you're feeling dehydrated, if you look at your hands,
You mean like the back of my hand looks like I'm 80? Is that?
well, now that you mention it, Trail, yeah, it does.
Yeah, I
buddy,
mean,
you know.
I'll pull it out.
You know,
Get a close up.
Your skin first and foremost, but then also think of hydration, the rest of all the working organs in your body. In order for your kidneys to work correctly, and do their job, you got to be hydrating so that they can be flushing and cleaning and doing the custodial work, if you will, of the body. And when you're not doing that on a regular basis or not providing enough of it, you're causing your body's own ability to function and support itself to slow down. And then also when you start talking about joint and knee, joint pain and inflammation and different things, hydration helps to maintain, better circulation and viscosity in our joints. And so there's so much that we could talk about, but those are a couple right
Yeah.
off the top of my head.
Both of them good. I mean,
He really knows what he's talking about.
skin I could care less. I mean, but
But for ladies,
Yeah,
I
for-
got to
for-
tell you, for women,
No,
that's
I get
a
it.
huge issue,
no, I agree. I say that just jokingly,
Yeah.
tongue in cheek. But yeah, the other one, inflammation. Joints, knees. I run every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that.
Tell me about this NSF certification too you guys got.
Yeah,
that's
so
seems like unique in the supplement world. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot.
And I appreciate that. This is something that we take very, very serious, right? Best in class, best in show kind of a deal. And so all of our products are manufactured in an NSF certified facility, which means for us that our manufacturer has to abide by very strict, rules and regulations. Whereas you have all sorts of different manufacturers. There's no label requirements that require you to, do different things in the manufacturing process. In fact, one of the number one things that happens on a regular basis is that, I'd say X, Y, and Z on my label, but what's actually in the product is A, B, and C, or a derivative of those. And so when you're manufactured in an NSF certified facility, they're bound to very, very, very strict and high standards. And so our manufacturing partner is randomly audited multiple times a year. They come in and they shut everything down. They'll test all the products. They'll go and look what you have in inventory, what do you have on production line, and if it doesn't match up, they will they'll lose their NSF accreditation and certification. And so it means that what we put in the product is in the product.
Does that happen a lot then? People say they have certain ingredients in the product and it's actually totally not, but you're trying to make your product look a little bit better, so you're charging maybe a different price, but you're charging a higher price maybe, but you have poor ingredients in there?
That would never happen.
Never happen, right?
I would love to say, because I love this industry and I love that when things are done, right, that we have the ability to really help people. Unfortunately, business is business and the dollar is the dollar. And there are organizations, there's been myriads of lawsuits over, the last 30, 40 years where, companies, when they are tested or they're challenged, they don't have what they say they have in the product. And, it's an unfortunate situation, but it does happen, yes.
That gets scary because it's like you don't trust in what you're putting in your body. And if I don't trust what I'm putting in my body, how am I going to perform in the mountains? Because now I don't, that's just not good to me. It doesn't sit well in my head that something could be bad in there that I'm taking. And
Well,
ultimately-
unfortunately, most of the time it's not going to be a bad ingredient.
No, but it's just you're paying for something that
It'll
you
be a
thought was gonna-
filler.
Yeah, you don't want the filler
an
thing.
inactive ingredient that's taking up space, because the active ingredients are always going to be your more expensive ingredients. You know what I mean? And so we'll cut back on those and not give you the full RDA or whatever it is that you need of that particular active for that purpose or whatever.
Even the branding to me is different too than you see out there. It's like it's clean.
Yeah.
It looks, you want to pick it up, look at it, like, hey, what is this product? And you pick it up, start looking at it. It's like, it's clean.
Yeah.
Best way I can describe it. It's not.
That's good because that's what we were going for.
Exactly right, Clay. And like I said a minute ago, one of our business partners is a very, very talented, marketing genius, as I like to call him. He does a really good job, and a couple of our other partners as well that are involved. That's their area of expertise. I always like to say I know enough to be dangerous, but I wouldn't trust myself. Trying to put together packaging.
Very good. What else you got? I will say, I'm not a supplements guy. I never have been.
Yeah.
Except for maybe like the last couple of years. I will say, like, if I've got, for example, I killed a bull we talked about a little earlier at lunch. That little pick me up, like right when I'm trying to, when it's the middle of the day and I'm trying to make a pack out, or I need to make it to the top of that next ridge, that little pick me up is so handy. I mean, it really is a difference maker, and I never would have been that guy that would have admitted to it or said it or even used it for that matter.
Yeah.
Like, I just have never been that guy that uses supplements. But, carrying around little single packets of a little bit of an energy bump at the right time has been, for lack of a better word, it's been a difference maker.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we've got it. I'm a fan. Tastes good.
Yep, I agree. I like the taste, and like I said, I like knowing that the products I use are going to benefit me, whether I'm in the mountains or out of the mountains. Like, that's just the biggest thing to me. I want to know something, and I want to be able to trust it. And hearing you talk about this, it's like just a science drop, like, of knowledge. Now I'm like, I feel like I know some things, but like after hearing you speak, it's like I need to do a little more research and figure.
Well, that's me. I don't know anything. I don't claim to, but I appreciate the fact that there are people that do, that put the time and effort into it, and I appreciate you coming and kind of giving us a rundown. It definitely makes me feel better about it. I mean,
so for like a week hunt, let's say I'm going on a week backpack hunt, full 7 days. What's the quantity of, maybe in like the ratio, which product would I want to throw in my backpack for a day, for every single day while I'm out there hunting?
Well, it kind of depends. Like for me personally, because we got to experiment with this all fall. I've been really blessed the last couple of years. Clay's allowed me to come over and play, guide and outfitter with him, and so
Cowboy, he does everything.
Cowboy.
Puts a cowboy hat on, the boots, he
Dude
does the
ranch.
whole thing.
Oh yeah, I like doing all that stuff. I love the Western lifestyle. From hunting and fishing to ranching and just having a good time outdoors. And Clay's given me the opportunity to be a part of other people's hunting dreams. Which cool. I love doing that. Like to see guys come from back east and kill a big mule deer and elk or whatever. And sometimes we'd maybe take it a little bit for granted, and to see the joy and happiness. But going back, Brady, to your question, for me, I like to start the morning with a conker, either a tiger's blood or a peach mango. It's a little bit easier for me on my stomach than going straight coffee. Coffee sometimes gives me like the McGurgles, and next thing you know, I'm driving to my first spot and I got to pull off. And, and
everyone's been there.
You know what I mean? You know what we're doing. And so it's a little bit smoother, gives you that same nice little bump. Mid-morning, if we've, hiked to a glassing spot or, hiked into a canyon or whatever, I want to make sure I'm going to have my quench. After lunch, I like a little peach mango to pick me up, middle of the day. And then at night, you got to have a recovery. So if I was doing a backpack hunt, I'd make sure that I had at least 3 conkers. I'd have 5, quenches, and then I'd have at least 1 recovery that I took right before I went to bed every night. And the cool part is that, you don't have to take the entire pack. Take your individual sachets out. You can put them in a Ziploc, wrap them, and you stick them in your backpack. And the cool part is on those kind of hunts, usually our hydration, we're going to a spring. We've got our water purification system that we're using or whatever, and you can mix them, right there and pull it right out of your like, what were those ones that we used last year at TAC?
Yeah, those were a new thing. Those were awesome.
Those are,
like giant algae.
Hard side hydration.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty slick. Anyways, so that's probably what I would recommend.
Yeah. Well, good. We appreciate you guys coming down.
Getting that GOHUNT stamp of approval is a big thing to us too.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are using everything you're using in the store, to get your blessing that it's a good product and something that you guys would take out there. It means a lot to us,
Yeah.
And like I said, I did enjoy having those little vials with me this last fall. So I might still have to just for,
Just for old time's sake?
memory lane, just dump some of those in my vial. Carry my vial still because that was kind of fun. Like when I was asked, what are you pulling out of your backpack right now?
Just a little Apex beaker, huh?
Make sure there's no gunpowder in the bottom of
Yeah,
that.
just make sure. But no, we really do. And, the connection with GOHUNT, as Lorenzo was talking about a little bit earlier, we were all sitting in camp and almost 2 years ago.
I remember him talk. He came home from that trip, and I remember being down here. I don't know what I was doing, but I remember him pulling me in the office and saying, "Hey, I got an idea for you. Let me pitch this idea. What do you think?" And I said, "Yeah, definitely. I think there's room.
Yeah.
There's room and there's a need. I mean, anything that exists on the market can always be improved upon.
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys have taken like a new and novel approach to it. I like it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. And we
very
appreciate GOHUNT because without Lorenzo's, enthusiasm, as you guys know, you work with him on a daily basis. When he locks in on something, he locks in.
He does. Yep.
And he was super enthusiastic and super supportive, throughout the process. He and his family, they were product testers. You guys were product testers for us, And so we appreciate from day one, legitimately, your support behind this and being down here and be able to leverage the platform to be able to help share the message that we have, purpose-driven products, by hunters, for hunters kind of a thing. And we know what we want, we know what we needed, and we went out and created it for ourselves.
Yeah, I like that purpose-driven products.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
And available in the GOHUNT Gear Shop. So also you guys' direct sale online or?
Yeah, we have, you can go to the website, www.apexnextevolution.com.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a long URL, but apexnextevolution.com.
Very cool. Or like we said, GOHUNT Gear Shop.
GOHUNT Gear Shop.
Yeah.
Which you get points back on your purchases.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Hit us with a promo, Brady.
So, yes. Good segue, Trail.
Did you like that?
Nice.
I
I was
did.
like, it's like you
Like
guys
I've
have
done
done
this
that. Yeah,
before.
exactly.
So yeah, we are deep into application season right now, and to give you guys a little kickback, we want you guys to have the best research. We want you to put more tags in your pocket, and sometimes even just figuring out where to get a tag in your home state. Maybe you live out west. You think you know everything about hunting in your home state. Well, there could be a lot of hidden opportunities out there. Maybe a better spot that's a couple hours away. Tag you can draw that you don't know. So use promo code podcast. It's going to get you, $50 back to the GOHUNT Gear Shop. So it's 50 points. 1 point is $1. So $50 back. And you can turn around after you sign up for that insider membership, use those 50 points, buy some of the gear we're talking about right now.
You can buy some Apex.
Buy some Apex.
Yeah.
Then start using that stuff. You start doing some of your e-scouting on the computer. You're going to be more, focused and zoned in on what you're actually looking at, what tags you're trying to research and try to pull. And then later on in the year, use this stuff when you're in the field. So
Yep.
definitely get in there right now. Use promo code podcast. Get an insider membership. I mean, yeah, we work here, but it's like I couldn't imagine myself right now not having insider at my hands every single day to dive in there and do research.
We just dropped New Mexico elk application strategy article. I've been looking at New Mexico for the last 2 weeks, working on those. I just got a text message from a buddy. He killed a giant Barbary yesterday on a hunt down there. I'm jonesing to get out and go hunting, and I start seeing pictures. I start doing research in states like New Mexico, which I'm a huge fan of. Now is the time to do your research. I mean, those applications are all coming up in the spring, and the key really to getting out a chance to go hunting is to draw a permit or get a permit. So we have everything that you need. Use the promo code podcast.
Promo code podcast.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Right on. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.